Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 9 of the Pump
Report!
That's what we do every single time, Josh. We
I
gotta,
didn't
we
want
gotta
to jump
carry
in
it
'cause
on. And
I didn't want to
speaking
get
of,
that wrong.
you what?
I didn't want to jump in because I didn't want to get that wrong.
Shit, I should have told you to say I go the Pump
No,
Report.
no,
We should have-
I've watched episodes. To be fair, I've watched an episode where it should have taken me in half an hour drive. I got through the whole hour and a half.
Fuck yeah, mate. That's Derby Loughborough traffic for you, Nottingham traffic. No,
Yeah,
but
no,
here we got Josh Jenkins as a guest on the podcast. I was speaking to him the other day, and I was like, oh, do you know what? Well, why not hop on? Because I'm sure a lot of you guys who watch us know who Josh is. He's recently had his competitive season, did very, very, very well, and we've got him here as a guest, and we're going to be doing this as like a catch up on the three of us, like a little overview, and then we're going to be going through a lot of questions, which is some pretty good questions. So I think it's going to be a good episode to dive into a few things. But Josh, do you want to introduce yourself and let them know kind of what happened this year with your season, the results, and what you're doing now?
Okay, so thank you for having me on. Am I the first guest?
You are the first guest. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, boys. Sick. So if you asked me about a couple of months ago, I'd be like, I'm an online coach, pretty good. I'm an average junior bodybuilder, but I feel like if I say that now, that's based on some results, maybe trying to like fish for a compliment. I guess a pretty alright bodybuilder, it's not a junior anymore. Competed this year, competed 2024, competed 2023. Did 3 regionals this year, won 2 junior bodybuilding ones, a classic short one, overall, and 3rd at the universe. So pretty good.
Let me get it up. He did a very bloody
on
good.
Instagram, yeah, just some pictures as well.
Yeah, I can do.
Let's see. Let's get him up. What was, out of all of your shows, what was your favourite look and why?
PCA Northeast.
Right, you're going to have to tell me which one is it? This one here?
So no, not that one. That was the overall, but that's not my favourite look.
That was fucking sick.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. You know what's annoying? You know what really annoys me though? Go to the second photo. No, third.
Oh, third. Oh my god.
Yeah. The 2 people next to me are now PCA pros.
No, and you beat him.
Yeah. I beat him as a junior, then I couldn't do junior bodybuilding.
Fucking hell. Well, you know, that just goes to show as well. That's one thing that Ed and I always spoke about. We have spoken about before, where I've been like, I know for me, before I used to have the mindset of, and I know you don't have this mindset, Josh, but I used to have this mindset of I need to achieve everything really early on because the age makes the accolades so much better, if that makes sense.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely had that exact same mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, never had it. Competed last when I was 18 and then stopped fucking competing for like almost 10 years.
Where is it, Josh? Which one is it?
It will be
Further down, isn't it?
that one there.
That one?
Yeah, that look there.
Which one do you want me to look
Show
at?
the video. Backstage, the one with the back one. The video. Below?
No. Where?
Go on the video backstage. That was the show before.
Oh, fuck, yeah, because it looks mad. I can see the
Oh,
glutes.
this one.
Yeah, it just looks cool. He's back. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Fuck me,
Like,
Jack.
I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that look, but then as I went on stage, I was a bit flatter, and like my back is my weak point. So if I'm flat, my back looks nowhere near as good. So
This is fucking mate. I forgot how fucking nuts you look. I remember showing up at the Universe literally just as your class was going on, and I was like,
yeah. And to be fair, Molly said to me, she's like, Mikey's so nice, but he kept annoying me because he kept going, Josh is going to win, Josh is going to win, Josh is going to win.
no, I was saying to her,
No, she was like, don't say that because what if I'm so panicking?
yeah, because she was already panicking. So I was telling her, like, manifest that shit. He's gonna fucking win. So I was trying to get her in a positive mood. But I thought you were gonna win. But anyway, that's just me. But yeah, this is fucking crazy. No, Jesus.
No, that was by far my best look because even like the reel you just saw, my back looks nowhere near as good as it did in this show because this show was literally 8 days later, but we just started loading the following day. So we probably loaded like 3,500, 4,000 carb into this show. And like,
God, that's a dream. I need fucking 400 carb. That's it.
and then it was probably like 5 hours of drying off. So like I just went on stage and I was like, I felt fat
Fucking
because I was
hell,
like just so full.
No,
Yeah,
no,
that
no, no.
was
Obviously, there's a little bit of a layer compared to the other one, but it's not. It's
yeah,
not that much of a layer. The fullness that you got on, or compared to the other video, like the. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Mad. The back
but
double is just how much
the
like
back double. Yeah.
pop you have, you
yeah,
know.
but I think it's because when I went on stage in my two bodybuilding shows, like junior bodybuilding shows, you beat judged, and this is what I remember saying this to Mikey as well. Like when you go on stage in junior bodybuilding, you're not being judged as who's the best person under the age of 24. You're still being judged as who is the best bodybuilder, not
Yeah.
Yeah,
Percent,
yeah,
And
100%.
I said this to Harry Blackburn as well after the PCA Northwest show. Was just because it's junior bodybuilding doesn't mean it's who's got nice shape. It's the exact same as if it was bodybuilding medium, just with an age cap. That's all it is. So they're still looking at it from a bodybuilding aspect. So when I got judged as that, I felt more confident because I was like, I want to be bigger now. Whereas you've asked me like 6 months ago, I'd say, yeah, I want to go and do classic. If you asked me 3 years ago, I want to do men's physique. Whereas
yeah.
now, I want to be bigger.
Sick, sick.
That is
What was
fun.
the weight of your last show when you like put? Well, not your last one, to be honest. The one that you pushed fullness for, with the extra 3 to 4K
Yeah, that's a
carb.
good question.
What was your
I'll get. To be fair, between probably middle of March to my last show, probably the 24th of May, my body weight fluctuated between probably around 196 and 202 pounds. Literally just bang, 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 bang.
Okay.
So not really that much different.
What's
Not really
that
that
in
much.
kilos for my Eastern European ass?
So
I know it's like 2.2, isn't it?
give
So
or
if you're
take, like say between probably like say I would like probably like 91 to like 88, 87 and a half kilos, around about that sort of mark. So
How
like,
about
what's
Go
that?
on.
Sorry, cut off. What was it?
Ed, you go, bro.
yeah, yeah. I was just wondering then, what's your cap for NPC for classic?
Oh, this is
Oh, he's not
exactly
going.
why. This is exactly why. Mainly also because I'm not classic long term. I feel like when I grow a bit more denser than like out. Whereas you could look at someone like Harry Blackburn, who won the universe. I'm bigger than him. I'm heavier than him. But when he grows muscle, it goes boom. Like it comes out and he gets much more of a taper. Even
I'm
like
not like that either. See,
no, but even like if you look at Mikey's quads, right? They sweep a lot more.
oh, it's quite
Mine when as my quads grow, they get thicker before they get wider. So I
like
look
my
more,
back, bro.
yeah.
Because
But
I
even your back's very wide, but then in
yeah,
that you're still very dense. You're more dense than you are wide, and that's not you can't really change that with your training style. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I think with me as well, like I've been fluctuating this prep now from, I think the lowest was like 80.5 or 80.8, all the way up to 82.5. I just rotate between those, like all the way through there. Like this morning, I think I was 81.7, the lowest I've weighed since show day East Anglia. Definitely more lines, and Tim's basically like, Mikey, we're just carrying on, right? That's kind of what's happening with me, guys. I'm 6 days out at the moment. Obviously, as well, shout out to Josh. I don't know, well, no one would have probably picked up on it, but the trunks that I've worn in all of my shows are Josh's trunks. I bought my own classic ones, and he's like, Mikey, I'm not doing classic anymore, I'm going open, do you want my ones? And I fucking love them, so I haven't even used my own
Hey.
trunks.
Yeah,
They're
that's
proper good.
I will say, mate, you definitely could take them in.
You what?
You definitely could take in the trunks a little bit.
Taper them in?
Yeah, like because you know when you hit a front lap, you're borderline holding it like that.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I do like that's the one thing I fuck that's the one thing I don't enjoy about bodybuilding. I know a lot of people do like it, the posing, man. I really just don't. I wish I could just go on stage and just fucking tense my muscles and that's it. I wish. And
To be fair, you know what I really wish would be a class. You know, like say you've got a client who isn't a bodybuilder, so they don't check in doing a front relax or a side chest. They just stand like that, then to the side.
yeah.
I'd love that class.
Mate, if
Great.
there was a class where I could only hit side chest, the spiked abs and thigh, most muscular, I'm sorted. I'm chilling. But
To be fair, you asked about like body weight and stuff. My body weight for every single show is within a pound. So first show was 199.2. Second show was 198.5, which is flatter. The following show was 199.2. And then my last show was 199.4.
Shit. So it's quite cool to see that as well, because the looks was so fucking different too every time.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a cool thing on prep as well, like being able to have different looks and experiment, because it's not like, you know, realistically, you and I weren't going for an IFBB Pro card this season, so it's almost like you can experiment with those looks. Like this time round, Tim and I are going even drier, right? We've gone drier and drier and drier, so this time round it's going to be hopefully a different look for myself too. We'll see what it looks like on stage, but I already do feel like it's going to be a drier look, maybe not as full. I actually have no idea what the plan is, if I'm honest with you. Like, we're taking it day by day, which obviously is the best thing to do on peak week, because, you know, every single peak you can completely change, you know, psychologically, the response to food, to fluid, to heat, like all these different things. So we'll see what the look ends up being. But I think as well, because I'm doing classic and bodybuilding, it's going to be a bit of a weird one to manage, because obviously classic, I need to be sharper for sure.
That's the classics after bodybuilding as well with tubers, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm doing bodybuilding as well. Light heavyweights, yeah. So
if you go around, you could literally just come in, not eat a single thing, go backstage, nail like a whole 5 guys at like 10 a.m, then jump on stage.
Fuck, man, I would just say fucking give me rice cakes instead, man. But yeah, like right now, plan of action for me today's a rest day. Then I've got lower D volume Monday, upper Tuesday, rest Wednesday, upper Thursday, rest Friday, show day Saturday. I'll be traveling up to Rotherham on Thursday, and then staying until Sunday, because I do want to get a session in Ultraflex Rotherham post show. So that's why I've booked it there. Fucking trained it. I know, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking
would have been staying over again.
Mate, I will say, I was in Rotherham about 2 weeks ago. It's going to be an absolute sweatbox.
I know, bro. I know.
Oh, it's not funny.
Also, if Josh is actually doing pretty good, but if I look a little bit dead, it's because we woke up very early for this podcast. We started filming at 6:30, so if you do see a bunch of bags under my eyes, that's why. I mean, we were all awake anyway.
Oh no, to be fair, this is normal for me. I've probably got about 12 hours sleep in the last 4 days.
Bro, my sleep has been awful as well. But the last 3 days, my sleep score has been over 90, like 7 hours of sleep. So I've been buzzing with that. I just upped my melatonin to 30 milligrams, and I've been sleeping like a baby.
It's great. I took 40 last night.
Yeah, I think the 40 is going to be coming out soon, but we'll hold off on that. I will say as well, because on here this is the only time I really chat about dosages and like the actual gear side of things, because look, we say it every single time, but if you're listening to this podcast and you hear what we're saying and you're like, oh, I'm going to do that, you're stupid, you shouldn't be taking gear. Just, it's common fucking sense, right? Everyone says it in a podcast, so I've just got to say that one more time. Please don't copy what we're doing. This is based off of my bloods, me as an individual, all these different things, okay? But essentially, going into this show now, we are trying mega dose SLU, bro. I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but we're doing 20 milligrams of SLU oral. So we've moved over to that because I wanted to experiment with it. I asked him, he's like, yeah, let's do it. And in all honesty, like
SLU as well. I saw a pod of Reese was on a pod, and you, I think, asked him a question about.
I did.
Yeah, and he's answer. He's like, 20. Mate, that's baby dose.
I haven't listened to it. I mean, look,
Reese would say.
only Reese, isn't it? But,
I'm assuming it's not as bioavailable, obviously.
no, but like my
Even
peak
if it's
injectable
50%.
dose, my peak injectable dose got to 1500 micrograms, but then this is obviously 20 milligrams. I wonder how much of it's actually bioavailable. It's still obviously a larger dose than previous, but like in all honesty, with like Clen, with SLU, I never actually like feel it, if that makes sense. I never have any jitters.
Can I call you out?
Go on. Except for that one time.
You're in the gym and you said, my Clen's been up to, I feel it.
Yeah, the first day it was up to 80, and I was on like 5 back-to-back low days. I was like, my legs were trembling, so that's true. But yeah, like I feel like I tolerate it really well as that, we've added in Motzi for the first time. So I'm doing a milligram Motzi fasted, and on training days also pre-workout. I think, in all honesty, that's helped my sessions so fucking much. Like, I don't know if it's placebo or not, but the day that I took it, I was like, fucking hell, like, this is sick. Like, I feel it quite instantly. Like, it felt like I just had a lot more prolonged energy. It didn't feel like I was going into the session like I've just woken up from a nap, which was like really fucking nice. And as well as that, we switched the Anavar to Winnie. So I've been doing 50 Winnie every day, which obviously is still like saturated. I'm not sure how long Winnie takes to saturate, but Tim's like, oh, it's still, you what?
90 minutes.
90 minutes. Well, yeah. So the visual effects, Tim said, like, oh, now they're really starting to
You'll probably will see a building up effect.
Exactly, and then we've been taking the 1 milligram of Arimidex as well, and that's solely for cosmetic purposes, not to manage my E2. I don't have any E2 thingies, but side effects. But it's almost like, fuck yeah, let's dry this, like dry me out more, because even on my show days, I mentioned this before, my fluid was so fucking low. Like, Tim is not about low fluid whatsoever, if anyone knows him. And we tried out like the low fluid going into the first show, even lower into the second, and I just get dry and I don't lose fullness. Like, I still get so vascular. Like, there's no issues for me whatsoever, which is nice, because I think as competitors, if we could choose not to drink water on a show day, we probably wouldn't, subconsciously. But yeah, so that with the Arimidex, with the Motzi, with the Winnie, those are the only changes I think that have gone in, and the slew, and then everything else has stayed the same. I've been kind of eating at baseline. Well, I have been eating at baseline since the last show. No, like, steps have been 8 to 10K. Body weight hasn't been changing much. The visuals have changed the most as of this morning, and then we'll just cruise into it. Tim's like, I don't mind body weight's dropping off because I'm really happy with the look. And I'm still full. I just, like, my body just never wants to get fucking flat. There was one day I felt flat, but it was like,
really.
yeah, mate, like, I went and trained, got a pump, and then I was full the rest of the fucking day. So it's like, oh, fucking hell, like, it just doesn't disappear. But that's an update on myself. Don't want to yap about it too much. Now, Ed, how about yourself, mate? Any updates on you, bro?
I'm finally sort of getting rid of my water, gang, so it feels bloody amazing.
Hell yeah.
I was speaking to Mike in the morning as well, just before the pod, that I don't know if I mentioned last pod, the peak was around 110, close to 111 kilos, with the water gain being maxed out. And
how many kilos? So explain to Ed how many kilos of water you gained in what period of time?
Yeah, that's what I'm backtracking from. That was the peak. The peak, just before the peak, literally a week and a half before that, so 10 days roughly before that peak, is when I weighed 97.5 back in Lithuania, which is roughly a 13 kilo gain in a matter of 10 days. And most of that happened even in less than 10-day period, which is wild. So it's just been, it's a lot of water. But now I've dropped down to 105.5 today, this morning. So it feels quite nice because I'm already 5 kilos down from the peak of it. But I still want to lose another 5 kilos to get back to like a 100 kilo mark. If I got to 100, I'm hella happy. You know, because I know that's... Sorry, carry on.
No, do you know what I was going to say, though, Ed? It's obviously, it's all about perception, right? Like, think about, I know obviously it's not ideal and it's not a good situation to be in, but let's say we put you at peak off season before your last diet versus you at 110 full water inflammation, like weighing more than your peak off season. You would look at it and think, fucking hell, I'm gassed with this at that moment. Like, I guarantee you would have liked the way that you look, because you're comparing yourself to 10 days prior where you were still fucking diced to the bone, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but at the same time, it wasn't like a nice 100.
No.
It's a different look, yeah.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's the film of water was so visible, where just like it's not the fat that like gives you still the fullness but blurs out the lines a little bit. The water just blurs out the muscle outline as well. So it looked like I was just standing with like a fucking fat sausage of a leg. There's just like it's just it would jiggle, man. It would jiggle like I've got like a thick thigh syndrome or some shit, man. It was.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you a question, Josh? Because Ed, you haven't tried Clen yet, have you?
I'm trying nothing but test and bloody primo and Mars. That's it. I want to get on GH, but I can't because of this water retention.
Yeah, it will come in
Change
due.
will help. Change will not
Yeah,
help.
I
I
definitely would.
know, that's what I'm saying. That's why Lewis said off the bat, don't even order GH, bruv, for now. Let's get rid of the water. And I was like, don't worry, I know. So, yeah.
So, question for Josh then about Clen, because I know loads of people have different opinions on this. Like I know Kuba, for example, used to push Clen quite high, but now he's like, he doesn't see the point going over 40 micrograms for most people, right? Well, for example, for me, right, I started on 40 micrograms, didn't really feel it, and I've gone all the way up to 80, right? So, and to be honest with you, I would be happy pushing Clen even further if I needed to. Like I wouldn't have anything against it. My heart rate's in a good spot, not impacting my sleep, my blood pressure's all chilling. So I guess my question to you then, Josh, is for yourself, what's your normal starting and what's the highest you've gone to? But then also, what's your sort of philosophy on and around clients? Like how do you do it with clients? Because obviously it's person to person dependent, but just like generic, right? Let's put it that way.
So I think the first couple of days of Clen are the worst. Mikey is like an exception.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I remember I put Clen in a diet last year, and I don't know what brand it is, but it was like I remember I took it first thing, so I was still using the Himbine. I don't use your Himbine myself or with any clients ever at all. I think it's pointless.
The sleep impact from the Yoenbine is worse than Clen.
Not even that. I don't see the efficacy for it whatsoever. You've got to fast for 3 to 4 hours, and for the vast majority of people, it's going to take away from their day unless you can wake
100%.
up. Unless you can go and wake up at 3 in the morning, take it, and then wake up at 6, do an hour walk or your cardio, and then start your day. I feel like it just puts everyone's days
That
back.
messes up your sleep even more, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Oh, Ed, your mic's quite quiet, by the way. I'm not sure if you can, unless it's just my end. Oh, that's fine. Carry on, Josh.
But with Clen, it's one of those things where I think it's very, very person dependent. However, the way which I like to diet for myself after, let's say, this prep or clients is I really, really don't like, especially in a prep, high energy flux diets anymore. I don't like it where someone's doing loads of cardio with higher food, because I don't find the body is that responsive, especially as you get towards lower perceptions of body fat. Now, when you're going through a point where if you can remove cardio and have a little bit less of food and then potentially drive up, especially in enhanced clients and enhanced athletes, right? If you can go and drive up lipolytics and there's no impact, no negative impact there, I do find the body is more responsive. And also, you've got to think that Clen is going to be more tissue selective. It's also going to have some potential to like hold muscle a bit better.
Facts, yeah. It's anabolic as well.
Yeah.
Like it's got...
Even with girls, like I think there's very small cases where you can actually even keep that within an off season, where it's actually got some potential there as well. So I don't see much negative with that at all. In prep, the highest it got to was I think 90, maybe.
Nice.
I've had it in prep, so I've been on 100. I've had it actually on this prep where I took 150 by accident.
You did. I remember you telling me that.
Right, I will explain this in a little bit because it is way off tangent and not education at all. Maybe it is education in terms of what not to do. But yeah, I think if you can get away with it and you don't have any negatives there, I think great, sound. Like when I've got it in, I don't feel the first few days of feeling a bit rough. Like I also don't mind if, let's say my dose is going to be 40, I'll probably start my first few days off on 20. After 3 days, go to 40, just ease my way in. Just because those first few days, I will literally be at my laptop, like almost like in slow motion feeling, because I don't feel right on it. But after that, I actually feel a lot better on it. A lot of like, even like certain things, like I've no issue talking about like dosage and things like that. But even when I've used Tren, if I've got it at the dose which I feel really comfortable on, which is 50 to 70 milligrams a week, like microdosing.
And it's split daily, yeah.
I feel amazing. From literally like a cognitive function perspective, I feel great. I just said, it says on my laptop, trying to reconnect, make sure.
Yeah, ignore that. Fuck that shit.
Cool.
We're all there.
But yeah, like for Clen, I feel absolutely sound on it. So like, if I've not got any issues, absolutely fine with driving that higher, as opposed to going giving someone more cardio towards the latter end of a prep. I think that it's the exact same with things like Slew. I think Slew's absolutely fantastic. Like I think out of all the new peptides that's come about, I think it's the one that's going to have the most, that's going to stay around for the longest, if not just stay around completely.
Mate, 100%.
Yeah, I think from a perception of literally just improving at the same body weight, amazing. Like it can literally just recompute you, even in like off season. I think it's
Yes,
great.
even in an off season, I think there's so much efficacy for having Slew in as like a baseline of maybe even 600 micrograms. I think it's fucking class. But in all honesty, I've done a lot of research into injectable Slew, and I'm actually really straying away from it now because of the solvent that it mixes with, DMSO, which is very, very toxic towards your body. So that's also another reason I wanted to go towards oral. I think for short durations of time, I would say it's fine, but DMSO, from what I'm aware of, is very negative, or has a massive negative impact towards bone density. That's one thing I've heard. So I was like, oh, after I finish this file, I ordered the Turbo Slew, which was obviously like the standard one, but then I was like, you know what, I want to try. Yeah, I want to try the mega dose, but then in the off season, I'm going to stay with the Turbo Slew and just build it up from there. I think in terms of what you were saying, I couldn't agree with you more, Josh. And I think for me, the approach that I've been recently taking with a few of my enhanced athletes, and I also do this with a few natural athletes too, and I've been loving doing this because we all know, right, when we're in the depths of a diet, when things get really hard and the fatigue starts building up, we're still going to push through, right? We've done it so many fucking times. It's just a part of the parcel. But what I've realized, if it's maybe their like first, second or third diet, or they're really wanting to get lean for the first time, I always now is say, right, I just need you to trust me here. I'm going to push you really hard to begin with. Like, I'm going to fucking push you hard. I'm going to have relatively high expenditure. Like, I want your heart rate. I tell them, I give, I say to them, like, right, fucking push your heart rate to 150. Like, I want you to challenge yourself on that cardio for this X amount of time. I don't care how many calories you burn. I want your heart rate between 140 and 150 the whole time. Now, based off of like, I'll give it a relatively big food drop off to begin with as well, because one thing I learned off of Tim is the psychological aspect of dieting, where you don't see those initial changes within the first couple weeks. You start doubting it a little bit, you start stressing. So if you can get someone to have a big body weight drop off within the first 1, 2, 3 weeks, it's like a fuck yeah, like motivational factor to it. So, you know, even with like Clen, for example, with people who have never used it before, I always start on 20 micrograms. And in all honesty, like with everything gear wise as well, I will just hold it until we need more, right? Keep the tools in the fucking bag. But then, you know, if someone has a negative response off of 20 micrograms, well, obviously we can just pull it out. But if they feel really good, after a week or two, I might bump it up to 40, then to 60, then to 80, and then at that point in time, it's worked really fucking well. Like the Clen does drive so much fat loss. It's mental. Like when I see clients using it for the first time, paired with the cardio, paired with the lower food, and then essentially for the first like 4 weeks of the diet, right, I probably won't introduce Clen right away, but if I did, right, the first 4-6 weeks of the diet, I don't need to make any changes at all. They still feel fresh. They're not food focused, but they've dropped off majority of that stubborn fucking fat that's going to take a while to get off if we took it slow to preserve the muscle. But now, leading into the latter end of the diet, I can feed them up on their days of either the day. To be fair, I've really enjoyed doing high days before a training session that I want them to have more focus on. Like I've really shifted away from high days on the day, and the reason is because I felt like, right, most of them train after 1 or 2 meals, maybe even 3. So it's like, realistically, are you using those carbohydrates? Fucking no, right? So why not
to recover? But they
to recover. I wanted to fuel I want them to have a fucking sick pump, look at themselves in the mirror and get that. That's what I use a high day for more than anything. Like, it's going to drive up your metabolism regardless, right? Because you're getting that extra food. But then if you can have it on a rest day when you're in a much more parasympathetic state, you won't be moving about as more. I can potentially even reduce the steps a little bit. You're a lot more chilled. You don't need to worry about making it to the gym after work or whatever the case is. Then the next day you wake up feeling way more energetic. You're like, oh yeah, I feel good. And then they go into the session, they feel good. I can assess afterwards, and maybe I'll run the high day again just based off of that response. Like, that's the way I've really enjoyed doing it. And then also with like clients who obviously are on the natural side of things, and then not competing natural, but they're like, oh Mikey, I want to experiment with a few things. Turbo slew, oral low dose turbo slew, like I will use that for quite like usually the older lot, and I've noticed the benefits that it's had in terms of like just their focus even at work and stuff like that. They're like, I feel it like in terms of just being able to dial in on things at the moment. So I think it's really cool, but then also you've got to realize, guys out there, don't just try these things on a whim, right? Because if you've got like heart problems within your family, or that you don't know about, you don't get your bloods done and certain markers are off, just be careful, because it isn't safe. Okay, the only reason you see all these websites selling slew is because it's not technically a peptide. It's I can't remember the actual what it is, like the molecular structure of it, but you can just sell it as a normal supplement. That's why
you can sell these peptides as regular things as well. If you go on TikTok, the amount of people who are like, oh yeah, get this, get that, and I'm just like, you can genuinely buy these things just as easy as buying whey protein now, which is the negative.
Arnold's?
Yeah, mate, the Arnold's. Fucking hell, we were walking through the Arnold's and they had the whole fucking peptide stand selling fucking Reta, bro, at the Arnold's. And there was literally 16-year-olds queuing up for it. And bro, the amount of consultations I've had, and look, I'm so glad they fucking come to me, because it's like, I have a consultation of a 16-year-old running like 8 milligrams of Reta, and I'm thinking, like, cool, like maybe you're
absolutely ridiculous. The amount of people I've had as well, and they're literally like, and they'll be, without sounding bad, they're very, very new to training.
Yeah.
And they're telling me more about what peptides they're taking than what they actually do in the gym. And I've even had it where people have worked with me, like multiple people under the age of 19, and they're like, oh, by the way, I've just added this in. I'm like, why? I've not told you to. And they're like, yeah, but it's going to help benefit my mitochondria. And I'm like, you don't even know how to spell mitochondria, mate.
Do you know what I've been saying to these clients, which I think helps a lot, right? And I'm sure you do this, Josh, and Ed as well. But I say to them, I'm like, right, let me put this in perspective for you. So you want to get lean, right? You getting lean, having a really quick transformation is going to benefit me. I'm going to get more clients. My business is going to grow, right? However, I'm not going to do that, okay? Just because your health, your safety is a priority of mine. So inadvertently, right, you've got to realize the choice that I'm making for you is not benefiting me. It's worse for me, right? I could be that coach who doesn't give a single fuck and goes, you know what? I know this client's probably going to leave me in 3 months. Let's get him a fucking sick transformation, pummel him with a bit of this, not tell him that Clen's enhanced or whatever the case is, right? And then get more clients off the back of it. I'm like, no, but I don't do that. And this is why I really want you to listen to me, because I am always going to do what's at the best interest of you, right? So I've been saying that a lot. And when I say that to the younger clients, they kind of understand a lot more. I'm like, look, you're gonna hear a load of shit on TikTok about peptides. Like, they'll be using this CJC, NODAC, ipamorelin, MT1, MT2, GHK, and I'm thinking, do you even know what any of these do? Have you assessed the individual response of each one, or did you just put them all in because you thought it was a cheat code and there's a shortcut? Well, guess what? I promise you, there is no fucking shortcut. There really isn't. What I found is the biggest fucking game changer for physique development, and I'm talking, for me, it's the most important thing, especially for beginner intermediate, is your training. I really, I'm so sold on the fact that when clients send their form feedback and they actually listen to what I say, I see their physique change.
There's a direct correlation between any of our clients getting the best results and those who are sending the training clips over, those who are literally looking through the feedback and being like, I am going to make it an absolute priority to do that.
Now, it's definitely adjusting your training rather than adjusting the amount of more C you're going to be taking.
Not exactly, not volume, not sets. It's the actual training. But I will say, because I know probably a few of my clients are listening to the same form feedback, because I've paused form feedback for this little portion of now within the show, so guys, don't worry, we'll be back. They all know anyway. But yeah, that was an interesting conversation. And last question I've got for you, I would ask Ed, but he's not taking it at the moment. GH dosing, are you in the morning, pre-workout, post-workout, but all before bed? Because for me, I will be all before bed no matter what dose I'm taking all year round. I don't care if I go up to 12 IU, it will all be before bed.
So I take it all before bed. Annoyingly, I think I might have mentioned this to you. When you start going enhanced, it's the first thing you look forward to is doing your injection. It's like, oh, this is cool. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to this.
I thought it was so cool
I
as
would do it
well.
every Tuesday, every Friday, and I'd be
Wait, hold on. Sorry. Quick caveat though. Whereas Ed was shit scared of injections at first, weren't you, mate? I
Man,
was.
no,
I was dreading it, bruv. I still get my palms sweaty sometimes.
no. I remember the first because it was when I was coached by Reese, and he was like, "Mate, if I was like, "Oh, I've done it," and he was like, "What, really?" He was like, "How did you find it?" I was like, "Oh, it's fine." Like,
Yeah.
this is Reese, right? So if anyone knows Reese Pearson, Reese Fit, same guy who will go absolutely mental and scream at a deadlift and scream at a leg press. He had to like psych himself up. Reese, if you're listening, sorry for embarrassing you. And I was like, no, I'm chilling, I'm fine. But I like look forward to it now. It's the last thing I do before I go to bed. Granted, I always have to do my GH then. But I think from a time perspective, I think it works. It makes the most sense for recovery, for sleep, for everything. Again, similar to your Himbine, I don't use GH for a fat loss perspective. I
No,
don't.
neither.
Yes, there is. Of course, there is efficacy there, especially if you are using Clen. If you are also going to be using L-carnitine, there is fantastic responses from using all of these in synergy with each other. Of course, however, I do think the actual efficacy from how much it generally just takes away from people's day to day is awful. It's annoying. So I just pin all mine pre-bed. I'm also going to run it up basically as high as I can afford.
What are you on right now, dosing?
So at the moment, the highest I've ran before now is 4. The
Same.
GH I've got now, I'm at 5. The other reason it's not higher is I can talk about it now post show.
Yes, I was going to say talk about this now. Yeah.
So post show has been great, but also awful. So I've been post show now for a month and 4 days. I am, as of today, actually £6 above stage weight. It's okay, I guess. But it's one of those where it's like I moved in with my girlfriend in very start of April, 10 days before my first show, basically. So since I've finished prep, she's on prep. I don't really know any people here. I don't really care to go for an off plan. I don't care really at all. So I'm just having normal food. If I'm honest, if I was having a plan, I'd probably just rather more cream of rice or more oats or something.
First off, one question off that: what was the off plan after your final show, though?
Oh, I just went for a pizza, but a couple of my clients came up for the show, and then I said to them, I was like, "Where do you want to go?" Like, "Oh, we'll go wherever you want." I was like, "I don't care."
Mate, that's exactly like me.
I don't care. Like, let's just go for a walk. We'll find somewhere open. We went for a pizza. To be fair, I actually had a pizza last night. It was my first off plan.
What was it?
Rudy's pizza.
Or see, that's going to be my post show because Heidi's going on holiday the next day after my show at 3 a.m. and then it's her birthday in 2 days' time. Actually, I've got some nice little gifties for her. She's going to love them. But when she's back, first thing I'm going to take her and her mum to Rudy's, treat them there. Like that's the only place that I don't.
Go if you go into the one in Nottingham. There's 2. Go to the one in West Bridgeford because it's like I think there's.
She lives in West Bridgeford, so perfect. Yeah,
outside the seating area is
What's
much
this
better.
Rudy's?
it's like sourdough-based pizza, right? Wait, I'll go for a piss. You tell him what it is.
So I've got another story about like water retention, shit like that. I'll finish. So I'll talk about this, then I'll talk about the amazing post show I've had where it's been awful. So Rudy's is class. It's basically like, to be fair, the pizzas are like 800 to like 1,000 calories. Like they sit really, really well. It's like oven baked, I'm pretty sure, or maybe sourdough as well. Very, very good. Like Italian style, great. The issue was, right, so been there a couple of times, great. So I went on holiday last year. The day before, me and Molly go on holiday, we were like, we just finished a diet, which we didn't really want to do. It's basically the first diet we've done in years where it's not been a prep. So we didn't have that psychological, let's get lean. We were like, well, lean enough, we want to go on holiday, it's annoying, go for a pizza. Now, I ordered like a triple pepperoni one. And the issue, I didn't realise this, the issue was they had coated it in olive oil anyway. So that was just probably like 30 grams of fat that you couldn't even taste. Olive oil is the most pointless fat source in the world. It tastes awful. But on every single slice of pepperoni, there must have been like a gram of salt.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, salt must have been diabolical from pepperoni.
So I'm thinking that, and I'm like, this is nice, but I've got a flight in 10 hours.
GG's.
But it's very good. It's just some of it a bit higher sodium. This morning after my pizza, feel great. But no, it's elite. It's very good. But yeah, in regards to the post-show stuff as well. So my body which wasn't moving. We put Reta in post-show. I I can't stand Reta at all. I think
And
it's the
explain
worst.
why.
Yeah. So first of all, I don't think if you're a first time, you should ever go anywhere near it for the simple
Agreed.
point of it is a drug which will potentially make things easier. If you get no negative side effects, you're going to have potentially slow gastric emptying and it's going to reduce food noise, etc., etc. Great. But if you're a first time competitor, I don't think you should shy away from that. Really, I don't, because I think bodybuilding is something which is supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be difficult. Not many people should be able to do it. That's the win. You go and do your first show, you nail everything. The win is just stepping on stage and then calling your name out that you're competing. That's the win. Then your next win is you get into a first call out. You get into a top 5. You get into a top 3.
Your
top
first
2.
show, never any
Yeah.
fucking expectations, please.
No.
Like that, you should never set any goals for your first show because
And
you
this
never.
what I said to Jared, who was on stage yesterday.
By the way, you looked at like good fucking shit, Josh. You
Yeah.
peaked him beautifully.
No, it was
Beautifully.
like the peak. I was like, yeah, I've done bits there.
When
I was
you
like,
nail
right.
the peak, and also with peaking, very quickly off topic, just you can just quickly answer this. For me, right, I have zero peaking strategy in terms of I am doing it all based off of visuals and gut. Like I've done it.
I do.
Yeah.
But
It's-
I know what it is. I know what I'm going
yeah,
to do.
so you've got like obviously you know what to do when you see what you see.
The thing is, I can't tell you what I'm doing.
What do you mean?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, no, mate.
I genuinely, and Jared asked me this yesterday. Will, who is a junior physique lad who prepped last year, he's prepping this year, asked me at an Airbnb the night before both of his shows last year, oh, how do you know what to do? I don't.
It's
Give me half an hour, I can give you a breakdown on why I've done things.
That-
But
exactly.
I don't know why I've done it. All I've done is I've looked at you, but at the same time I've looked at you for the last 8 weeks. I know exactly what happens when I give you 100 gram of carb. What happens when I drop? What happens when you go to bed at a certain body weight, you wake up the next day? I get all my clients from about 3 weeks out, might be a bit overkill, to track their pre-bed weight and their morning weight.
yeah.
How much is going to drop overnight? I don't know why I've done something. It's just the first thing that comes to my head.
Facts.
This week for going into Jared's show, I wanted to make sure that because he's got his lower body, which needs to be better within classic physique, I was like, okay, let me just bring out as much of his condition as I possibly can.
And you fucking did that.
So I drove up his Winstrel a bit higher. I dropped the Anavar down. I kept Anavar in because I did just want to. I think Anavar, for my own just personal perception of how I feel when I've got it in, I feel like I can connect to a muscle a bit better. So I want
This is it. Anavar, what I've noticed
pro
is,
science thing in the world.
no, it's true. With Anavar, with me as well, I noticed it only gave me more psychological benefits in terms of I can feel my muscles more. I feel more pumped when I'm like
Yeah.
doing something
And
gym related.
even if there's no difference, right, in terms of like how you look doing a side chest with it, without it in on stage or whatever, if I'm backstage and I can feel my muscle a lot better, I'm going to go on stage a lot more confident.
Yeah,
Not only that, I
Ten-
think when you contract on stage as well, feeling the contraction of the muscle
makes a
definitely-
massive difference.
Exactly, because you know
yeah.
you're testing it.
Yeah, because if you go on stage and you go and hit a side chest and you're trying to contract your glute and you're like, I don't know if that's on, and then you've got to go to the side chest, then you've got to tap it to make sure it's there. The judges are like, he can't pose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you're
you
not meant to touch yourself or anything like that. You're meant to keep it clean, man.
Do you know what I did differently this time round with my glaze is I didn't glaze my adductors because I realised I couldn't squeeze my glutes at all in Hampshire because I had too much glaze on my adductors. So this time round I was like no glaze on my adductors, and I could I still because of the adrenaline I couldn't really tell, but I could engage them a lot better than I could at Hampshire, and East Anglia was a lot better. So that was another little thing I did, but.
Yeah. But again, like sometimes you just can't explain it. But where was I on the Reta thing? Basically, I don't. Yeah.
So
I
Reta didn't
first
like.
timers-
Sorry.
I basically said first timers don't use Reta.
First timers don't use Reta. Now, post show, your Reta, what happened?
So I used it for a week in prep. I couldn't hack it. I used 0.5 milligram twice, so a milligram a week. Started on the Saturday. By the Tuesday, not even after a meal, just randomly, I would just get my stomach just go boom, like just inflate for like half an hour, go down, random stomach stabbing pains. It was great. And then I was like, I ain't doing this. I had no less hunger or anything like that. Even though I wasn't hungry, I was still like 7 weeks out, something like that, from the first show. I was like, I don't really care. I'll just put it out. But I wanted to use it because I'm going to have clients, and I do have clients who want to use it, and I want to be able to say, here's how I felt. Here's what you might feel, etc., and even just understand how they feel at certain times. But I was like, post-show, I do want to try it again, even though like post-show before I've been sound, but if that's going to help even more, great. But if there's also going to be even further benefit from making me even more insulin sensitive, further improving lipid markers in blood work, which, to be fair, but actually might have helped with that bit, did one positive, then I want to trial that. Great. So the first 2.5 weeks, absolutely fine. And then my girlfriend and her mate, if they worked together, both had a stomach bug. I then had a stomach bug. So the issue was I was then feeling absolutely like terrible. I'd wake up at 4:30 in the morning to crack on with prep check-ins. My stomach would then inflate within 2 minutes of me waking up. I just watch it inflate after no water, no food, nothing. And I'd be like crouched over my desk here, be unable to even like sit up properly. I'd be like wincing trying to type on my laptop. It was that bad. So I get all my prep check-ins done. I'd have to go back to bed just to lay down. I end up falling asleep for an hour. Then I'd get up and I'd be fine. And I was like, this is awful. Horrendous.
Isn't it mad though how when I started with Tim, I've opened up about this and I've spoken about it, where I had that really stressful period, and I binged that one like couple days where I was so stressed, and I look, obviously I've spoken about it in the other podcast, but we added in Reta, and I was like, to be fair, it's a good opportunity, same reason. I've got a lot of clients wanting to use it. I want to experience it too. Mate, I went all the way up to, I think, 6 milligrams, and I didn't feel anything, no side effects. And
I genuinely think if I took 6 milligrams, I'd be in hospital.
Yeah, and I tried other brands, I tried pens.
Yeah, bear in mind, I pulled it shortly after that, and because of the half-life, I've basically got over the stomach bug in the last 24 hours. I've had a stomach bug for 2.5 weeks.
Mate, yeah,
absolutely horrible.
Mate, Reta for me, like, bro, it's like I didn't even feel it. Now I have tried tirzepatide as well. I did feel that one. That I felt it a lot better, but they just work well with me. Like I get no side effects from it whatsoever.
That's why we spoke about this at the start. This is why everything you do within enhanced bodybuilding, anabolics, and things like that has got to be individual. I've seen people come to me and they're running the same thing which their mate did, and their estrogen is at 800, 900. Their skin
I've seen that
ridiculously like shiny and oily and stuff like that, and they're like, yeah, I don't feel the best. I'm like, I'm not surprised.
No,
yeah,
it's just also mad that people are happy to take something like Reta, for instance, just for the sake of like suppressing their appetite, when it's something they can, fully manage and develop through discipline. When instead they choose a drug that has such adverse risk on the side. It's not like you take in test and you know that maybe if I push it too much, I'll get some gyno. But either way, I'm getting mad amount of muscle from it. So hell yeah, I'm gonna jump on. Yeah. But instead here, you take in Reta, something that you're in control already, but just to take it as like a shortcut and potentially messing up your gastric emptying, messing up the way you feel, and the bloating, which would mess up the way you can present yourself on stage, the way you can do check-ins, etc. Like Josh yourself mentioned and stuff, like it can ruin so much more, and the trade-off is just seemingly so not worth it. Especially that's for the young ones, like 16 to 18-year-old kids. Instead, if you're gonna actually do it, like ideally, don't do anything. Just stay natty for as long as you can. I stayed natty for 12 years, lifted natural for 12 years until I got on hand. I'm still
assisted at 13, by the way.
Sorry?
Just started training at the age of 1, went assisted at 13. That was the 12 years natural.
But that's why I'll still look relatively young at the age of 28. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say, you do not look 28.
Yeah, every time Ed reminds me he's 28, I'm thinking, what the fuck?
But do you know what I mean?
Mate, this is like, even with Reta, right? So I haven't used it this prep or anything. However, I am going to use it again post-show, but I might have a completely different response to it. But then also, where I've found the best efficacy for Reta is I haven't used it for any of my enhanced prep clients. None of them have used it. Because I just would rather not risk the chance of, if we do need to have a high day and then it fucks up the high day, I'm just not taking that risk, right? But, even with lifestyle clients who maybe it is their first diet, but it's something where, look, they really need to lose this weight because of health reasons, right? I might have some obese clients, or maybe even some clients who suffer with binge eating problems. I'm not going to say they've got a disorder. I've found so many benefits of using Reta as a tool to pause, get rid of that noise and that hunger, and educate them and teach them like why they should feel like this, the food, set up their diet. And then by the point it's been a little bit of time, when we do taper away the Reta, they already have everything built inside, but they didn't have to fight something alongside it to learn it, if that makes sense. So not everyone, but I do have like I say a good chunk, like a small percentage of clients who wanted to try Reta. I'll never push it on someone ever, but if they're like, Mikey, I want to try it, then I'm like, cool, let's give it a try. And especially with those clients where they have bad food relationships, it works so well in terms of like, right, let's sort it out immediately, in terms of like, let's stop you get a binge in your face off because it's really, really impacting your health. But then also, right, let's calm you down, let's explain, let's work through the behind the scenes of why these things are occurring, and then coming off the back of it, you're much better, right? It's a much quicker, and I'm not saying that's the only fix to it, I'm not saying that's the way that you should do it, but I've definitely found a lot of benefits in that regard. And I think competitive wise, as you guys were saying as well, being able to learn that discipline, you know, the things that you can take from a prep into your normal life. If you can go through a prep without cheating on your diet, you know, as well, I was saying to this to Ed last time, I'm going off on a tangent here. I've heard people saying like, oh, 16-week prep and I didn't cheat once, and people were replying in the comments saying like, no way, you're so locked in for not cheating on your diet in a prep. And I'm thinking, what? Like, you even comprehend cheating on your prep? Like, it's just, I really don't understand that. But anyway, that's
yeah,
definitely.
it's one of the, and it goes back to what you're saying about SLU, right? These things haven't been around as long as anabolic steroids. Anabolic steroids we know are bad for your health, but we know how bad, potentially, obviously genetic response. We know the most likely risks of taking a DHT derivative, of a 19 nor, of testosterone. We know all of these things, so we can put things in place for that. But then when it comes to, like, let's say even SLU, as Mikey was talking about, we don't know. In the case of 5 years, if you go and take 600 micrograms of SLU injectable format, we don't know we don't know how much of an issue that is. We might see that is an issue, as Mikey was saying, but it's actually not as much as we were thinking. So actually, like, okay, and it's also, then also might be able to be, that might be something which can be reversed or can be prevented through any supplement. We don't know. We literally don't know these things. But then we also might find that the SLU, the oral one, is absolutely fine, but its bioavailability is like oral L-carnitine.
Yeah, where it's literally...
I'm not denying the benefits and stuff, and like, I think it's just when you think about if you look at, for instance, Ozempic and its impact on bone density and how much that completely effectively eradicates your bones from inside just after 1 year use, even non extremely high doses. If you then take that as like an example, and you take this whole shebang of peptides, and then you start applying an array of them at elevated doses across an extended period of time, you may as well just most of the time choose the actual increase in anabolics, or vice versa, just develop that attribute without having to utilize such tool, because not only people have developed it without it prior to them appearing in the market, but also on top of that, you won't have to come off of anything to, I think, ingrain those principles within you. Because I think you can actually ingrain them without applying. And that's not me being like, Mikey, what you're doing with your clients and applying them is wrong. Everyone's got different approaches and completely chill. Also, if anything, it's client's decision. But from my perspective, what I would always advocate and speak about beforehand is that you are going to be better off in the long run, not with only avoiding the negative effects of the drugs, but also on top of that, developing those positive attributes from yourself, from within, with your own effort. That's my only 2 cents. You take it, you do whatever the truck you want, boys. Do you know what I mean? And that same with the clients, etc. Like, it's not me enforcing my ideas. It's just my 2 cents to, you know.
You are right though, because this is the approach that we all take, right? Is obviously we have a deep discussion beforehand and, you know, explaining it and all these different things. But I will say about the Ozempic and the Reta and the tirzepatide with the decreased bone density, the reason that that's happening, right? And the literally the main reason is because, one, all these people go into these sort of clinics that are prescribing them tirzepatide and Ozempic, right? They care about money. That's all they care about, right? So they're constantly increasing doses on a 2-week schedule, right? So it's going up and up and up. And it gets to the point where someone is taking 10 times the amount they actually need for the effective results. Therefore, they are not eating, they are not drinking, their protein is zero. Therefore, their micronutrients as well are going to be almost rock bottom. And that is why they lose all that bone density, because too many people overdose, right? Do way too much that they're supposed to. I've seen it with like even my mum's friends, for example, right? Some of them are like starting Manjaro or Tirzepatide, and you know their doses are still getting increase and increase to the point where they can't even eat anything. They can barely drink a coffee anymore. Then they look frail, they look disgusting, they're getting really ill, and that is why, because they can't eat and they're not using the fundamentals of fat loss, which is food and expenditure, right? Or being in a calorie deficit. They're relying on something that they lack, which is discipline or resilience, unfortunately, right? Which a lot of people don't have nowadays. But then this is where I always say to my clients too, why not prove to yourself that you're different than everyone else? Why do you want to be like everyone else who gives up the second it fucking gets hard? I don't want to be like that. This is why I love what I do. One of the main reasons is because it proves to me that I can do more than other people. Why not prove to yourself that too, right? And then further down the line, you've proven it, you know you've got all those attributes, and if you want to make it a bit easier for yourself, sound cool. But yeah,
I think it's also, and I know you guys have got questions, so
yeah, we can rapid fire them.
I'll try and like quick fire this bit. I think with, I think it has got massive efficacy, like you were saying, Mikey, towards people who have got actual like issues, and they've had these issues for the last 15, 20, 30 years of their life, and they need to lose weight in order to keep them healthy, to get them healthy again, and to improve their quality of life. But my thought process is, if they're going blasting this up really, really high, where in reality, like I've seen from literally, and from a gastric emptying standpoint, literally perfectly with myself, 1 milligram is great for that purpose, if that's what I needed, right? But then if you go and use that too much, it becomes a crutch. And that's where, and I don't ever use this, like this phrase ever, especially within bodybuilding, I'll say that a sec, that will cause an eating disorder. Because you do rely on it, it's a crutch. Yeah. And I don't think the word eating disorder should ever be used in the same conversation about bodybuilding. Because Agreed. If you went to a bodybuilding show in the 2000s, in the 90s, right? They'd finish a bodybuilding prep. What they're going to do? I'm going to go and have food. I'm going for a pizza. You've not got an eating disorder. I'm just having food. It's the exact same now. And I think the way which bodybuilding is, and don't get me wrong, I don't agree whatsoever with getting off stage and going and having the biggest cookie thing you can find. I think that's stupid. But I don't think it's an eating disorder, because it's not. It's you've been really disciplined for 16, 20, however long weeks, right? And you want some food. You want some food that you haven't had.
Oh, delayed gratification.
Yeah. That's all it is.
Up for months to buy a PlayStation. It doesn't mean that you're a lunatic for being excited about the PlayStation.
That's such a good analogy, yeah.
Mate, it pisses me off when people do that, and like they like get upset about people enjoying the food. Like, it's everyone's choice. Like, if you want to binge after a show, you're gonna learn the hard way why it's a bad thing. Ideally, everyone already speaks about not doing so, but unfortunately, idiots around the world already know that it's a bad thing to do something, but they still do it. I think learn the hard way.
You learn from it, right? You learn from it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like, and my thoughts is, and I'm very like blunt. Like my personalities, I'm very, very blunt. My thoughts is, if you've got a show and you need to get leaner, why the fuck are you having an off plan?
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's
yeah, like you're an idiot. But at the same time, I also look in the sense of, you haven't got an eating disorder, and I hate it when people blast this and say, like, if you go and eat like an idiot post show, you've got an eating disorder. No, you don't. You're not anorexic, nothing like that. You're not bulimic, nothing like that. You just had some food, and because you've not understood how to handle those things, it's got a bit out of control. But you still don't have an eating disorder. And I think that is genuinely worse than people eating off plan, because and that's the issue with fucking social media. Like the stuff which I'll probably put on like posts and reels and stuff, I'm very like,
mate, that's good though, because you're
but that's me, and that's a downside of me. Is that's
no, it's not. It's bro, you can't ever look at it as a downside, because
at the same time, I do believe that it's not an eating disorder, and I think that's genuinely a worse thing in social media is not these people seeing, oh, this is how you need to perfectly handle post-show or things like that, and then they haven't done it and it caused things to be worse. No, it's people saying you've got an eating disorder and labeling these things. You've not got an eating disorder because they didn't have it 10 years ago.
Fact. And also,
Sebum, after a show, post on YouTube, I had a full cheat day. Would you say Sebum has an eating disorder? No, you say he's got a fucking Olympia medal.
And also, right, you got to realize with these things, with the way that you are, Josh, the way that I am, it's the type of clients we attract, right? Because if every coach was the same, then there would be one coach with every fucking client in the world, right? They join you because we can do all the X's and O's. We know everything about nutrition, not everything, but you know what I mean. We can get someone fucking dice. We can build muscle.
I know everything, guys.
I know everything, too.
Yeah.
But it's more like the personality side of things, how you are, that's what they're attracted towards, and that's okay whether we've got different opinions or not. Like, I'm not going to name names, but you know, clients post show, you know, I have had a few clients post show recently. I've had a lot of people, because I speak a lot about post show, I've had a lot of people inquire with me coming off the back of post show with their current coaches being like, they're just not here for me at all. Like, they haven't even given me a plan. They're straight back to weekly check-ins. I'm thinking, how can you do that to a client in that time, especially when they're a first timer, right? And
I don't think that's personality, though. I think that's just not giving a shit.
No, that's not personality. That's just being a coach who's doing it for the wrong reasons, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, my internet cut out there.
Like, I'm probably very, like, Mikey is very, like, you're very, like, positive all the time. I'm probably come across a bit not miserable, but like, again, blunt with things. But at the same time, that's not mean that I'm not. I've got clients who, like, I've got a client who last year was on stage. He was checking every single day until December.
Yeah,
he was on stage in October.
Yeah, I've still got all the.
He was checking in twice a week till February because that's what he needed. But at the same time, he also needs me to be a bit more harsh with things at certain times, and that's absolutely fine. But then also at the same time, you need to know when is the right time to be harsh, when is the right time to just be someone's mate.
And that's what
makes. I love nothing more than being my client's bet. Like, all of my clients, I want to be their mate. It's my first thing. First thing in the first couple of weeks of coaching is I want to understand how you think, because I think that's massive in coaching. Understand what sets you off, what sends you west, but also
that's what makes a fucking coach, man.
I want to know what football team you support.
Yeah, it's like
I want to know what you got up to between your
bro. Like what you were saying, very quickly backtracking, is like the reason when we're peaking someone, we don't have a specific protocol that we write out. This is what you're doing for the next 7 days, because they have been checking in every single day since 6 weeks out, right? We've been doing post-workout visuals, body weight all the time. We know their body so fucking well to the point of you just know. You simply know. And that's what makes a coach, is not all the educational side of things. It's about having that eye for it, right? The visual, the people managing skills, I think, is the most important part, because in prep, I think the psychological and in a diet is the biggest aspect of a successful prep. And if you can understand someone, if you can communicate effectively, it makes the biggest bloody difference.
Yeah,
but
also understand, especially in a prep, when's the best time to be like, if you've got 5 minutes, can I just give you a call and just see how you are? That's really important. That's like, really, really important. Like, anyone of my clients who has ever been sub 4 weeks out has probably had about 10 phone calls with me, just literally, how are you?
Well, do you know what? Like,
they've also had a check-in for me where I'm like, right, get your fucking shit together. Let's fucking crack on. You're 4 weeks out.
With Lazo, right, for example, with Lazo, he was nearer to the latter end of prep, really, really in his head, like, not liking the way that he looked, thinking he's not going to place top 5 because that was his goal. He's like, not going to be worthy to be stepping on the stage. So with Lazo specifically, since 4 weeks out of his first show, every single daily check-in was a call. Every single morning I would call him, because I knew that's what he needed and I want him to succeed. Now, do I do that with every single client? No, of course not. But look, those are the small things you've got to look at when working with coaches as well, is, you know, really figure out how they work with clients and like look at experiences based off of like what they've got on their Instagram, because they can say a load of shit as well. But, you know, I've had clients come to me post show where it's like the coach is not allowing them to do certain things, this, that. And instead, what I do is just kind of giving them that peace of mind of saying it's okay. Just that simple word makes the biggest difference. But then even with like off plans, sometimes I might be like, right, just have an off plan. Or if someone wants more structure like I do, I will quite literally create them a new nutrition plan called off plan day, where eat these 3 meals, you've got 1,500 calories to do whatever the fuck you want with, and then they feel fine. They're like, oh, Mikey's giving me the plan. It's on plan, right? So, you know.
It's the same thing post-show. Like, for anyone who's post-show, I ain't reversing them out. I'm putting them in a pretty big surplus straight away.
Oh, instantly. I never fucking reverse out post-show.
But a little bit stressed about getting fat. They're not going to get fat off eating the same 5 meals they've had, just a bit more of them. And if their baseline food in a prep has been even 1,600 calories, but I go and put that to 3,500, yes, that's pretty much double. But they're not going to go and, you know, have a little bit of chocolate on the side because they're already worried that they're going to get too soft. But they're not going to get too soft after eating chicken and rice and cream of rice and oats.
Do you know what? This is like Lazo finished his prep on like his baseline low days, 1,600 calories. Put him straight up to 13,000.
You might get
no, 3,500 calories instantly with very, very satiating foods, more veg, more fruit, fat in there for hormonal sort of equilibrium, proteins high for satiety, more food than he's ever eaten before. And guess what? He has fucking nailed post-show because it's a lot of food. And guess what? He is only up, I think, 1 kilo since stage, and he looks even better because he's been adherent to the plan, and I've managed to bump up his food again. And that's where, right?
More than me.
Yeah, mate, he's eating a lot of food and he looks fucking great for it as well. And guess what? He's already been on a holiday, managed a holiday fucking impeccably, went a full day in London, a full day off plan, but because he's got an idea of like how he's supposed to feel on the food that he's eating, understanding and me educating him like, mate, you are going to be very hungry. Your body is going to tell you you're starving. Your brain's going to tell you you're starving. Everything will, but just realize what you're going to do right now will dictate how fast your food climbs up, how fast you're going to recover. And that's why being able to, yes, have the education side behind it, but then also the communication skills, the people managing skills, that is something you can't go into coaching and just, it's just something you've got to have. Yes, you develop it in time, but that's why not everyone can be a successful coach because it's, you know, it's so fucking like, there's so much more to it than a fucking nutrition plan and training plan, man.
I hate to say it, it's just giving a shit. It's giving a shit when you're on prep as well and you're absolutely knackered and the last thing you want to do is go on your phone, but then you're like, I'm going to mess my client to see how they are.
Yeah, it really does make a difference. But anyway, right, Ed, is there anything that you want to say before we get into questions?
No, not really. I think it's just...
Did I say the Clen story? Did I say the Clen story?
No, wait, let Ed and then you go. Clen story. What were you saying, Ed?
Someone on the Big Dog cast said it quite well, though, I think. It's about, at the end of the day, separating the fitness coaching and psychology coaching. There's still a difference between being like a life mentor and a coach, a bodybuilding coach. At the end of the day, like, our job is to, whether it's lifestyle clients or bodybuilding clients, is to do the training plan and the nutrition plan. Because the only problem is when you set these examples, everyone signing up to you now might expect that level and that attention to detail off of day one. Whether it's the messages, the second they say that they feel bad, is the second you're gonna start checking in with them every day and asking, do you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's a balance. You're still coming in for a bodybuilding coach. If times come to utter shit at 4 weeks out and you're genuinely crumbling, of course come to us. But if the first obstacle that you faced in the first 4 weeks in your plan has been slightly difficult and you're there like, I'm not sure if I can do this.
This is a very good point to add.
I need a bit more care towards me, you know, because I think I might crumble. Then it's a bit like, how are we going to manage the long-term relationship if at 4 weeks in, I'm already having to devote significant amount of more time towards yourself just because even in an off-season time, you're finding these difficulties and you want to chat to them about, you know, with myself. That's where I think we need to still separate them as, you know, bodybuilding / fitness coaches, that there's still a line between those two things. And you need to use those moments of intense communication with your coach when they need to happen and when it's the last resort almost, before you crumble, not just because of the first obstacle that you faced, now you're expecting that. That's all I wanted to say in regards to that topic.
Yeah, because I feel like it can... I feel like say if you're struggling in prep, right, but then you get to 7 weeks out, 6 weeks out, whatever it is, and then you've got your coach who is checking up on you and whatnot. That's then a relief. But if you've had that from day one, it then isn't a relief. It's just that's the norm.
Facts,
And
yeah,
then where'd you
yeah.
go from there? It's like it's the same with PDs, right? Like where'd you go if you start on 600 milligrams of test in your first cycle? Where'd you go? Like, what third cycle in you're on 2 gram? Like where'd you go from there?
Can I say one thing as well, right, which I think is really important, and I'm really starting to realize myself, because I didn't before, is us as coaches, we are still humans, right? Like in terms of we all have our own relationships, we all have our own families, we also want to be able to live a life. Like, you know, we don't get set holidays throughout the year. Like we invest so much time into this, and of course we fucking love it, but then there's also times where you know a break for us is needed too, right? And I will say right now, I've messaged my clients where I've said over this next sort of week and a half, 2-week period, I am going to be taking my first break, in a sense, right? And what I mean by that is I'm still going to be doing check-ins, I'm still going to be messaging, but I've said, can you just keep check-ins relatively simple unless there's something urgent, and I'll be sending a voice note reply. And I said, it's because I haven't had a break. I really want to give back to my family and friends, and I want to recover post-show properly. And I was literally there typing up that message for probably a week and a half, 2 weeks, so scared to send it all to all my clients. I sent it yesterday. There was not one client who said anything. They were like, Mikey, we've been waiting for this message. You deserve a fucking break, mate. We support you. And having those people that you work with that care about you just as much as you care about them, that's the one of the best feelings I have ever felt ever. Yesterday I was literally like tearing up reading the messages. It was amazing.
Because mate, after all this time you've been coaching, it wasn't like the 5th time you're telling your clients that, oh guys, I will be slow with these replies and I'll be doing this and that. It's the first time because you've genuinely
First time I've ever taken a break since I've started.
So it's not like at the start of everyone's coaching journey, you just took like a break. You know, 3 months in, it's going a bit too much, so I'm going to take a little break. You know, sorry clients. 6 months in, the same thing. It's the fact that you've been coaching for fucking years now, and you've literally got to a point where your own prep, as well as the amount of clients you have, just got to a point where, you know, you want to take a little bit of a break, and you communicate that with clients.
And for me,
they're completely fine with it because they know you've put your heart and soul into it so far.
Facts. For me to be the best coach for them, I also need to prioritize myself, and that's something that I severely neglected and like over the last couple months, in terms of I just didn't give myself any time whatsoever for anything. And really meeting Heidi, speaking to Tim about it, speaking to my family about it a bit more, they're like, Mikey, you need to do these things, otherwise it's just not sustainable, and I want it to be sustainable. So, you know, even though I don't want to take this break, I'm forcing myself to do it, and I think it's going to be nothing but beneficial.
Sometimes it's needed, but it's like, it's good when clients fully understand, because like on the complete flip side, you know, if a client leaves, ruins your week.
Yeah, 100%.
It doesn't matter who the client is, doesn't matter their goals, doesn't matter if I've got a great relationship or not with them. Like vast majority of my clients were literally like best mates. Well, literally chat, like half their check-in is talk about the football, anything like that, right? But if a client leaves, no matter who it is, it ruins your week. It's absolutely horrible. But then when clients can then see that in the sense of like, right, well, he's, I don't know, going on holiday or anything like that. When I went on holiday, I still did all my check-ins. I actually sent the message to say, please check in as normal, because I don't, I'm scared. So please don't.
Yeah, I'll be doing check-ins like normal too. Yeah.
But it's nice when you've got clients like yesterday at Jared's show had they probably might watch this as well. They did an amazing camp. They came out for my shows in like May as well. They've been to like loads of my other client shows as well. They came to support. That means so much. And it's annoying when like you feel like, especially towards the back end of prep, you've not shown that appreciation as much because you're so stressed. But stuff like that, when clients can appreciate that where you're at, and to see you as not just their coach but also their mate as well, is absolutely brilliant.
But then also, last little thing, I'll touch on this and we'll go into questions, because otherwise this is going to be the longest thing ever.
Quickly then, boys.
Yeah, go for a loop. Yeah, you know, in terms of like leaving.
I'll go to the toilet after this. Mike finish this. We'll go for toilet breaks.
Sick toilet breaks. But no, in terms of leaving a coach, I think when there's something like, for example, like me wanting to take this break and then a client leaving off the back of it because I've asked for a little bit of time off, that would make me a little bit upset. I'd be like, oh damn, like maybe they don't respect me as much as I respect them, or whatever the case is. But if it's a case of like, you know, a client leaving, I had this conversation with a client literally yesterday where they asked her, they wanted to leave, right, because of the coaching, because they wanted just to go to a different coach and learn something different. And I said to them, I was like, that's fine, right, because at the end of the day, you're paying for my service. We've had a good time together. I see you as a very close friend. Yes, it's upsetting when you leave, but at the end of the day, it's your choice, right? And I think I've had a lot of clients very scared to tell me those things, and I encourage it, because one, I don't want you wasting your money. Two, I want you to enjoy what you're doing, and if you're not enjoying it with me, that's fine. It's completely okay. But you know, in regards to that side of things, like I've had clients where, you know, I've built them up their whole off season, built a fucking, like, completely changed their physique, and then they start a prep with someone else and do amazing on that prep. For me, I was like, yeah, I'm happy for you, man. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. All I ever ask for in those cases is just give me some notice. I just give, like, and if there's a reason, whatever the reason is, just tell me, because that will also help me improve as a coach. If that's whatever it is, whatever reason it is, sometimes maybe it's just stress, sometimes it's like maybe they haven't voiced something,
or they just want to change.
Yeah, but if it is, like, all I ever ask for is just like, and I genuinely say it to clients, it's like, I don't want you to view this as I'm attacking or anything like that. Sometimes I might even voice no and let you be like, absolutely fine, but just tell me the reason, because that will help them improve as a coach, but also give them the clarity there. I think if a client leaves, getting the clarity on what that is then helps you improve as a coach, or just understand the reason. And even if then you're like, I don't really understand, at least you're like, okay, cool, I don't think I've done anything wrong here.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, cool. Sometimes the client can't give a reason.
Yeah. Sick. Right, go for a piss. We'll start off with questions.
Cool.
Right, well, this one's directed at me, but one of my clients, Patrick, didn't you stop vaping back in January? Is it because of the deficit? Yeah, in all honesty, I did quit vaping for 2 weeks, but I'm back on it. Yes, because of the deficit, and also I'm addicted to nicotine. Yeah, all honesty. I just like vaping. Cathal, do you feel / deal with any emotional stress when peaking yourself and other clients? But I think that's also relatively directed towards me, and I'll keep these quick fire. Yes, there was a lot of stress because I felt like you know, I wasn't there on their show day. However, I was like, fuck, they're gonna hate me. I'm not gonna be like, you know, they're not gonna feel that support, that I'm not there for them. However, they were so supportive. They understood. They wanted me to win just as much as they wanted to win. They were encouraging me to compete, because I said to them, boys, if you like, I will not do this show if it makes a big difference for me being there. Mikey, it won't, because we know you'll still reply within 5 seconds. As soon as you're off of stage, you'll be on your phone. That's exactly what I did. They both ended up doing fantastic. So if anything, yes, there was stress going into it, but now I've proven to myself I can manage it. So simple. Heidi B Fitness, who's your favorite person ever? Heidi B Fitness. I'm trying to find questions. Okay. Advice you'd give to someone who is building a business. My simple advice, and I'll keep all. Huh?
Don't work and don't stop ever.
Facts. Right. Yeah. We'll keep these answers nice and short. Consistency. Don't look for a shortcut. There is no cheat code. Consistency. Learn your own path. That's my answer.
And you know, when we spoke a little about taking time off, do that after 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, like after, yeah, like
this isn't something you're thinking to do in like your first couple of weeks of coaching or anything like that. Like, I've had 36 hours off work since that, and that was Christmas Day last year and Boxing Day. And half day Christmas Day, because I was driving to Molly's. I'd still worked in the morning. Yeah,
last year I think the only day I took off was Christmas Eve, because that's Polish Christmas Day. That was it. And I was straight back to work day before, day after. Like, that was it. Ed, what about you? Any tips for building a business, or like a few key attribute maybe?
I think, yeah, consistency. I think with the holiday breaks and shit, take whenever you want to, you know, if you've been grafted and shafted and it's been paying off, and, you know, some people can graft for, you know, everyone's graft is different, I guess that's the point, you know. Everyone can do different different amount of work within 8 hours, you know. If you use your 8 hours well and your graft pays off within the half a year, you know, take off a holiday after half a year, you fucking earned it. But if you've been, you know, messing about and doing half-ass work for 3 years, but you know, every year take a holiday because you put half-ass work in, then I probably wouldn't recommend any holidays for you, my boy. You know, get back to work.
Don't expect anything that's gonna come. Like, if you know you can do more, do more.
Yeah, and it's like, and especially if we're talking about like coaching, right? Some people will have a reel or TikTok that blows up, and they capitalize on that, and they're already a good coach, and they get inquiries through that, and their business goes great, and then their business stays amazing because they're consistently providing results. So we don't have that.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking to build up, let's say, a coaching business and things like that, right? The main things you need to have is results, so that you can actually do your job, right? So whether that's with yourself, whether that's with other people, whatever. Also, then you've also got to think, as we spoke about, like how communication side of things are. Someone's also going to need to want to work with you. So show your personality, because then if you've got someone sign up with you who doesn't know how you are, you might not even enjoy coaching them. They might not be enjoying coaching with you just because they don't see eye to eye. Not even see eye to eye, but don't have the same personality traits as you. So again, show these things, because then you're also going to build the business that you want, because you're going to be attracting the clients that you want. They're also going to want to work with you. You're going to be able to provide better results. And again, it takes time. Like there's people who have been coaching for a year who will probably have more clients than everyone on this podcast. There's some people who will be coaching for 6 years who will have a fraction, but it doesn't matter. It's just, if you're happy with what you're doing, brilliant.
Beautiful.
Continue doing that.
Mate,
I like
work without
Maybe
looking at...
I am positive.
I think you need to work without looking at the clock until you can buy shit without looking at the price tag.
Oh my god, get that fucking on a t-shirt, bro.
Graft first without caring how much graft you're putting in, because you truly enjoy the graft, and by the time you've grafted enough, the dividends will pay themselves. But the graft has to come first.
Next, we got a lot of questions, so we got a quick fire through these. We can ask this for all of you guys. So let's just say 2026. But the question is, has this season made you finally realize your potential, mate? In all honesty, for me, a little bit, still doubts, but definitely more.
Because you're in the wrong class.
Yeah. Well, I know in terms of my potential of my work ethic and what I'm willing to put in, yes. But do I know where my physique can go? No. That's my answer. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I think it's maybe just like, kind of like, in a way, like reassured things. In a way. Like, I knew from day one of bodybuilding, right, that I was like, cool, this is what I want to do. But it's maybe reassured me in the sense of like, okay, no, I actually am all right at this. As in, like, from a placing perspective. Not from a day-to-day routine, not from a ability to train or anything like that. But I'm like, okay, no, I can actually be pretty decent at this from a competitive standpoint. But at the same time, I'm not somebody who wants to go and compete every single year. I want to go on stage and I've got to probably build 40 pound of muscle now. Sound. That's fun.
Ed, yourself?
Oh yeah, this year's competitive season has been great so far, guys.
No. I said for you, I said 2026 in general.
Oh, I thought it was just competitive seasons.
Well, yeah, because you competed this season anyway. So.
Oh, fair. Yeah, 26 been up until June. It's been banging. Can't lie. I looked fucking mad by the time I was leaving Lithuania. Now, not so much. Now I'm just diabolically big, but just not.
Okay, so minus the water retention side of things, did coming out of the diet give you a glimpse of your potential?
Stage will tell. I have no clue about my potential until I compete next when I'm assisted.
That's it. I was convinced I didn't build any muscle till I stepped on stage again.
Man, that's what I'm saying. I just look a bit bigger, but I don't look that much improved personally. So it's just.
I will say it's
28.
Yeah,
we got shitloads of questions, boys. Come on.
I will say as well, because I thought it was just competitive seasons. Because it's been my first client on stage since like October of last year. It was also in the sense of like, okay, no, I'm sound because I didn't have to think about anything.
That's,
you know what I mean?
that's
okay,
a good point.
yeah, I'm absolutely fine here because I didn't have to plan anything. I'd sit to Jared every single morning. I was like, I'll tell you what you're doing in the morning. I don't know what you're doing yet, but I'll find out.
Yeah, sick. Would you rather permanently quit caffeine or Tsar?
Caffeine any day, man. Jesus
I
Christ.
would I would quit Zar over caffeine.
What's that?
Weed.
Oh, anything recreational, not bothered.
Yeah.
Pharmaceutical.
For
Yeah,
me,
so
I would quit. I would quit weed over.
But I would throw out the bag of bud that I've got behind this screen. The
No.
boys wouldn't believe it.
Next question. So it says, do you think you both, but let's do all three of us. Do you think you three are anabolic hyper responders, Jack Casey type shit? I don't think on the level of Casey, no.
I think you are. Jack, yeah. Me, no. No.
I think Ed's a
Mikey's
fucking hyper responder too.
You do, yeah. But I've used probably like 2 to 3 times the amount that you guys have used. Yeah, ain't the same, bro. I ain't going to Olympia.
KC is on another fucking level. Let's put it that way, all right?
The way I look at it, right, is if you're starting an off season who can stay ridiculously lean, you've got glute striations at peak off season, right, and you're like 40 pound of stage weight, you're a good responder. I ain't. I go put 3 pound on.
Oh yeah, my glutes will be gone after 3 pounds too, bro.
I think, boys, let's be real. The real hyper responders are people like, you know, the ones that we see like Krenitskis, like a
yeah.
Blasting like barely any gear compared to like genuinely compared to us. He's not on that much higher doses.
Yeah, he did a video on it, and he showed you as well in the end.
I've spoken to a bloke multiple times. I'm Lithuanian, boy. Do you know what I mean? Like same with Costas. Those blokes are not taking that much. And they look like that. That's a hyper responder. Myself, Mikey, Josh, all the other blokes, even in UK, we're not bloody hyper responders. We're not.
I agree.
Those are hyper responders that can, you know, jump on 4 to 6 IUs of growth and 500 tests and look 3 times bigger than any of us will in 3 years. That's a hyper responder. Other than that, boys,
that's a hyper responder in capitals. I
think with the capitals is that Nexzilla bloke. That's the capitals.
Yeah.
That must be myostatin deficiency at its peak, man. That Nexzilla bloke is wild.
I'm going to skip a few questions too, but Thomas asked, how are you boys? How are you feeling now, boys? I'm feeling good, feeling optimistic, excited for the final show, happy to be here. Like, genuinely, it's been a really fucking fun morning this morning. And I'm excited for what post-show holds. I'm excited to have a little bit of a break. And I'm excited for Heidi's birthday. I'm definitely the most optimistic and positive I've been over the last month or so. I definitely feel the best I've felt. Good. How about you, Josh?
I'm sound. Aside from post-show being a bit annoying with not being able to gain weight, then stomach bug causing 7 pound of gain and then back all the way back down. I'm very excited to get into an off-season and just fully crack on. Well, I am in an off-season now. I've started blast, but still haven't trained since being on the blast. But I'm sound. But if I'm honest, I'm more just excited about just my clients on stage now. I find it so much more fun.
Yeah, it's fucking like I'm the same as you, and I got a few later on this year, and I can't wait. Josh, what I was going to say to you as well, and Ed, would you guys be down for another episode? We make it all about what we have done and go through Ed's entire post diet, my entire post show, your entire post show, like what we did with food, gear, bloods, etc. Yeah. Maybe that.
I can talk about like different post shows because every post show the protocol has been different.
Yeah, we'll go through our currents and then
had to recover from over dieting. I've rebounded out of a prep on PDs. I have gone through a health phase. That's fine.
Yeah, Ed, what about yourself, mate? How are you feeling? Because you're doing better.
I'm good now, mate. Just want to get this once off, really. Yeah, just cracking on.
Hell yeah.
Peak max in every single meal. Chicken out.
I said to Lewis, if I'm going to have another day when the weight comes back up by more than like half a kilo or something due to like a bigger fluctuation, I'm just going to down a whole tub of fucking Peak Max. I'll just piss everything out.
Fine.
Flush the whole fucking kidney out. I'll piss the whole fucking kidney out. I don't care, man. Get that shit out of my system because I swear to you.
Next question. Now that you are... background, Josh. What age did you start training? What age did you start taking gear?
I'll go through. And also, I'm going to say was probably now. I don't think way too early because I don't regret it at all. But I kind of wish I started at a different time, maybe a bit later in that same year. So I started training when I was about 14. Started taking things a lot more seriously. Nowhere near like the streams now, but as in like, okay, I want to do this in the gym and I want to track this and I still didn't 100% know how to do everything, but I cared about doing it. That was probably like 16. And then just before I turned 20, went enhanced. 24 now. All I kind of wish was that I went through a diet, a couple of months afterwards, and then started.
Yeah. So
All I wish I did differently. Because I'm like, and this is, at one point in my life, it would probably bite me in the ass. I don't need to think about something. I don't need to just weigh up pros and cons. If I want to do something, I know I'm going to want to do it. I knew I wanted to bodybuild. Can't tell you what I just did.
Yeah. I started training at 16, took bodybuilding seriously at 21, and then I started, 20 actually, and then I started gear at 24. What about you, Ed?
Started training when I was 15, 28 now. Started taking gear last year when I was 27.
Yeah.
So
Sick.
I'm the reckless one.
But the question is,
I didn't track shit. I didn't track shit until my last comp, like last year. I didn't like really have like a coach or anything at any point properly. At no point was I like tracking my macros or anything like that. The only times that I've tracked my like anything was for like a month. I was under Dan Bastic. Shout out Dan Bastic, he's a beast. Aaron's coach.
yeah, Aaron Aesthetics.
Yeah, so he's the only time that I was really coached by someone, and that was for like 2 months. And then after that, I've not tracked shit in my life, really. I was just enjoying lifting and eating whatever the fuck I wanted, if I'm honest. That was my vibe.
The game is gone. The game of doing that is fully gone. That's the best time in life.
Yeah,
I've milked it for 12 years. That's the beauty. That's what I'm saying. Don't rush with gear. Don't rush with processes. Enjoy whatever you want.
We got to get through these questions, guys. There's so fucking many. We're yapping too much.
There's no chance of getting through all of them.
But the question was, because obviously Josh has elaborated on it a little bit more, but for Ed and I, do you wish you had done it sooner? For me, in all honesty, yes, I do wish I hopped on sooner. Don't want to waste it. For me, it's at the perspective of, I don't want to bodybuild forever. I want to stop at 30, 32 years old because I want a wife, I want kids. I want to have full focus on that. Therefore, I wanted to start earlier, but then also, do I regret not starting earlier? No, it's my journey. Boom.
Good.
Yeah, I don't regret it either. And I would have started blasting probably from the age of 20, I want to say, or 19 if I would have. So I would have like rinsed because but that's the thing. I just wasn't like, I didn't have anything in plan. So there's no point for me to.
I didn't know either. I really didn't know.
Hindsight's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, like exactly. Yeah, if I could have, I would have, but I don't know, so I won't. You know.
So this could kind of fit in with all of us, right? Because I know Ed with your previous prep, Josh with this one, me with this one, and my last one. How do you find the balance between prep and a relationship? So for me, my last relationship and my last prep, awful. No understanding. It just didn't work whatsoever. It was almost like I couldn't ever get across to the fact that like, look, I can't do this. Like I'm 2 weeks out from my show. I can't drive all the way to yours and spend 5 days at yours. I just can't do it. And it was almost a fact of like, we lived two completely different lives, two completely different types of people, didn't work. Whereas this one here with Heidi, which is obviously eternally grateful for, I explained, she understands, she's prepped before, and it's almost like this time round, the best thing in terms of managing preps and a relationship, communication, honesty, that's it, right? I think that's it. And as long as your partner supports you for your goals, you'll be fine, right? But then also, don't neglect them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Josh and Ed, was your sort of experience on prep with because obviously Molly competes as well. So how?
So I was only with Molly for this prep I've just done. I've known Molly since 2023. My 2023 prep, I wasn't in a relationship. 2024 prep, I prepped because I came out of a relationship, and I was like, I won't go into too much detail. A lot of shit went down. Yeah. And I was like, right, I need to just set my mind to things. And then a lot of other shit came out like halfway between the prep in regards to that. And I was like, cool, I don't care. I'm 6 weeks out. If I stress, I'm going to get watery, so I ain't going to do it. I don't care. And to be fair, I didn't. To be honest, I couldn't give a shit. But this prep, no, it's been like, it was sound. Like, I do think communication is really important. And I think as it's my first prep being with Molly, that we haven't just been best mates for like 3 years beforehand, actually in a relationship, there's definitely things which I can definitely communicate better. I think I communicated very well for my first prep going through it with Molly. Likewise, she's going to pick up on things that she could do better with her prep. For sure, there'll be things. But
I'm going for
communication is really important. Explaining to someone how you're feeling and just being honest. If I feel battered, I'll just be like, yeah, I feel battered. Do you want to do anything? No, I'm just telling you that I feel battered, just so that if I'm a bit quiet, you understand why. But like every night, I'd always make the effort to be like, do you want to lift home from work? Because I would always do that beforehand. Do you want to watch it on Netflix? Because we'd always do that beforehand. I think something that's really important in a prep, just for even anyone anyway, but also especially a relationship, is do exactly the same things within reason that you would still do when you're not in prep. So for me, I like going to football games. I go to football games. I like watching stuff with Molly in the evening. So I'll do that in the evening with Molly all the time. Even if I haven't got the mental focus for something, even that little bit of a time for your partner, she's like, okay, well, we're still doing the same sort of things there. I'm not like, everything's absolutely fine. He doesn't hate me, is really, really important. And that becomes a much more healthy relationship afterwards as a result.
Yeah, 100%.
And also remember to tell them that you love them, because you do forget to say that sometimes. Molly, sorry. She's doing a cardio downstairs, so she can't hear me right now, but Molly, I'm sorry.
Ed,
Yeah,
did you
I basically said communication and just being honest.
tick? Ed,
Yeah.
anything from your end?
For me, I think yeah, last one was just a bit. I think you need to have like as Mikey said, there's a partner that is, I think, as invested partially, not like as invested, but as understanding of
In
the
you,
process.
invested in you.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. And I think partially in the process, because I think to care about the process, you have to know a bit about the process. And even if you're not
Yeah.
within, my partner was unfortunately just not as into bodybuilding, and we separated afterwards, either way, after the bodybuilding prep. But she was, she tried to be as supportive as she could have been in her way. So I can only appreciate and respect that.
The thing is, I think that means more sometimes. Like,
Yes.
if I've got clients who their partners aren't in bodybuilding, but they're like paying attention, they're asking how they are, they're coming to their shows and stuff like that. I'm like,
Have a good session at the
yeah,
gym.
like that means probably more, because they
Yeah.
don't really, they have absolutely no idea how you're going to feel. They've heard that you feel pretty rough. They have no idea what that actually means. The
Yeah.
fact that you're walking, your legs feel like lead, but they're caring enough. I think that's massive. That's really so. If you, if,
But the caring, obviously, yeah, you need to have the balance of the caring and then obviously how much it, as Mikey said in his first relationship, for instance, the caring didn't come out in the person that wasn't understanding of the bodybuilding aspect. It was more like the expectations came first before the caring aspect came. And that's where I think it can be tricky in a relationship with someone that is not as in bodybuilding, where they might care, but unfortunately, there's sometimes priorities come first before the caring for you and your process, and that's
Yeah.
where, yeah,
And look, that relationship was never going to work anyway. It shouldn't have been there in the first place, almost, right? Looking back at it. So, you will always make those mistakes, but I think those are some really good points. Next question from Joe. Obviously, Ed, you know Joe. Aherney, I don't know how to say his last name. Sorry, Joe. He says, life is fucking tough right now. Any wise words? And the only reason I wanted to answer this question is because you've got to realize, mate, there will always be fucking hard times in life. There always bloody will be, right? And I think this is where you have to just put yourself in a position of, are you going to allow it to take control of you like most people do? Or are you going to be the person that takes control of it and realize there is a light at the end of the tunnel always? And if you can do something about it, you've just got to do it no matter how much you don't want to, right? Whether it's changing your job, whether it's getting out of a relationship, finding new hobbies, like you've just got to do something about it. There will be tough points in life, but then rather than being very negative about those tough points in life, look at it in a perspective of when you come out the other side, you will be a better person.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking as well. It's like when, let's say, if life goes a bit tip top, it will pass.
It will.
It's not going to be forever. But then at the same time, it's like when everything's going great, let's say you're an online coach, you've had 50 signups in the last month, which is ridiculous to be fair if that's happened. But that will also pass. That's not going to be the norm. You'll then have a down period. You then go back up. So if you're struggling to say loads of things have gone wrong and it's been the most awful coincidences ever, that will also pass. Things will also at some point get better. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week, but they will get better. Or my only advice for anyone, and I try to remind myself of this as much as I possibly can as well, is okay, cool, but how would I act as if nothing, as if everything was not, maybe not even good, but just everything was fine? I still get up, I still do my work, I still put all of my effort into everything which I want to do to make my life better. As long as I'm doing everything which I possibly need to do to put myself in a better position, those coincidences will fall away, will improve or whatnot, and then I'll have some better coincidences. Random things might pop up. Great. But then because I've done all this background work when I didn't really want to, it's even better. And then you've got a better foundation. If your foundation of everything you do day to day, your training, your nutrition, your work, everything like that, if that's your constant foundation, that's really, really high, those negatives aren't ever going to be as meaningful. So even if when you're feeling like shit, still do those things because it will make you much better in 6 months' time. Even the same things happen, but you could build all these things up. If you're an online coach, you've put loads of work and you've got more clients. Okay, you're worried about things, but you've got more clients now, so you're not as stressed about things.
Yeah.
Fine, because you've done those things when you don't feel great, and that's very, very hard to do. It's the exact same with bodybuilding. You don't feel great, you feel shit in off season. Okay, still go to the gym and still progress your lifts because then you're going to be happy when you go on stage. You're going to thank yourself for it.
And also, like, we're all going through our own tough times at the moment. Like, we're all going through our challenges, but we're still persevering through, right? Ed, any wise words from yourself?
I think just keep cracking on, mate, you know? Like, and obviously we've met multiple times, we've seen him and stuff, so...
Lean on the people around you, bro.
It's really, it's obviously, if it's a really shit time, always welcome to drop me a message, we can jump on a call, whatever it be. But that's, I think, you know, I can give you the cliche, tough times, you know, last, tough times don't last. Tough times last as long as they can. So, sorry, bruv. No, just mate, as I said, I think you need to just keep cracking on because not only the tough times, you know, don't last that long. I think inevitably you just come out a better person at the end of any challenge and at the end of any failure. And that's why I always promote failing and just going for whatever you can and experimenting with different training styles or food or whatever. Same thing applies here. Just keep cracking on because you're going to come out knowing a lot more about yourself because of this tough time that you went through, rather than taking the easy way out and just doing fuck all and being like, oh, life's shit, you know? You learn a lot from yourself, so keep cracking on, pal.
You got this, Joe. We love you, bro. We're always here for you, my man. I've got 2 questions just for myself, which I can answer very quickly. Are you starting your gaining phase straight after with a big increase or going for a slower approach? That will be down to my coach. So whatever happens there, but yes, it will be straight into like recovery gaining. Noah, again, is your split going to change when you come out of prep? Obviously add more volume. No, volume's probably going to be even lower, the first initial portion of after prep to aid recovery, but also, yes, split is probably going to change to work on the areas that I need to improve the most. Okay, for all 3 of us, just one thing, best memories throughout all your journeys. Doesn't have to be bodybuilding related. I'll say one bodybuilding related, one not, and probably a little bit cringy too. First off, my best memory bodybuilding wise is winning the WNBF overall. That's my favorite memory, not because of the win, just because of the emotions and everyone that was there. And then my second one, cringy, but meeting Heidi. There it is. So what about you, Ed?
Every single with Christmas, every single family Christmas. That's
all. Oh, okay. Right, you're making me look like a bad person here.
No, it's just like that's.
I'm joking.
The whole year, all your man looks forward to is that fucking time with family during Christmas
is incredible.
And a nice fucking Eastern European table of food. Yeah. Give me that scran and give me that family vibe by a fireplace. That's my happiest memory every single year is Christmas time. That's it.
Nice.
And bodybuilding, mate, seeing Lou, my ex-partner at that time as well, and my pal from Lithuania, he flew over from Lithuania with his girlfriend to surprise me for a show, the UK DFBA one. shout out Davidus and Diana, the absolute legends. But that would have been probably the favorite one in bodybuilding. Them flying over and having like, you know, in the next show, Luke come out to support it. You know, cool little 2 shows last year.
Hell yeah. And Josh, what about yourself?
So is this like with winning bodybuilding best memory?
Within bodybuilding, and then one just life general.
But within the time frame we've been bodybuilding.
Yeah, let's do it within the time frame you bodybuilding.
So life one, probably like the week period where I got my new car, which is pretty cool.
Very cool car.
Made a very stupid, like very on the whim decision within about 20 minutes of it. Probably the most thought I've put into a decision in my life, that. And then about 5 days later, I went on holiday with my girlfriend.
Fuck yeah.
My girlfriend on holiday. I was like, that was
That's
nice.
pretty
Like,
fucking
my
cool.
girlfriend on holiday, got a nice new car, and I was like, that was nice. And then, not because of the actual result, but just the day was the Saxon show. Because no one knew I was doing it. I used to post my check-in photos on my story and say, check-in from this morning, this
I
body weight."
remember.
So I just put on my story, me winning, saying, check-in from this morning, judges are happy. And it was just, I was like, that was my
Cold.
first, yeah, and that was my first ever win, and I was really happy. And then my dog was there, which all I've ever fucking wanted was a photo of me with a gold medal with my dog there, and I was like,
That's sick.
done that. And then about 3 hours later, that.
Yeah, what a beautiful photo.
Yeah, so it was just my mum, my dad, my dog, and then Molly there. No one else was there, and I was like, sick, brilliant.
Nice,
So,
nice.
I was like, and then I somehow actually had some emotion and cried a very small amount with all the Arimidex I put in throughout the week. Don't know how I managed that.
Oh my god. But other than that, I think some of the other questions are just a bit like general stuff. I mean, we can wrap it up there, all right? I don't know if you want to answer your questions. I don't know what we want to do moving forward for this
No,
now.
let's keep my audience. Fuck my audience. We don't care about
No, mate, we love your fucking audience, bro.
Fuck all of them, man. Mikey, just tell them to fuck off.
Let's quick fire your questions, bro.
Now, we're going to give them full attention, guys, all right? The same way we've been given. My boy
Top 10
deserves
weight.
it, right? Yes. Best performed cream of rice. Imagine.
Salt of caramel.
No, I think this one is quite interesting because I think loads of people, well, a lot of people I know do with work and lifestyles. Faster training in the mornings, thoughts? So I think personally for myself, I did that for ages, training fasted. And if it works for you, banging, if you have enough energy for it, and if you have like a big enough meal the night before, and it doesn't interrupt your sleep and digestion, etc. before bed, well, yada, banging, if you carb up effectively the night before. But if not, if you wake up and you feel absolutely knackered, well, probably need to change something, have a lot more pre-workout or something. But if there's no other training period that you can do besides fasting in the morning, then that's what you're doing, man. Do you know what I mean? Anything to get it done at the end of the day is what matters. And just have a shit ton of carbs afterwards. That's it.
I would say if you do that and you can literally just nail, like, as easy as possible, 3 Lucozade Sports.
Yeah.
Which you probably can. Maybe like 1 on your way to the gym and then 2 intra. You've got 75 odd gram of carb, 80 odd gram of carb. You've got a good amount of fluid in you, a good amount of electrolytes. You'll be sound.
Yeah.
Bit of pink salt in there, sound. And like the amount of times, and this is where bodybuilding is so overanalyzed now. The amount of times I've had a session after a client show, I've had 1 meal, I've been up for 10 hours, I've got on train, I've had a ridiculous amount, I've had a great session.
Same.
But then the amount of times I've been like, I've trapped this, I've trapped that, and I've had a really poor session. Yeah. If you feel good, amazing. Best thing you can do is genuinely not know too much or not pay too much attention. If you feel great training fasted, do it. I feel great now training on 1 meal. I never used to do that.
Yeah, I train on 1 meal now as well.
Yeah,
I was going to in the off season, but at the moment I'm on 2. But yeah, sick.
Right, Mikey, your thoughts or same thing? I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, you worded it perfectly.
Nice. Well, then a question: how do you get nervous before stage, and what do you do to handle those nerves? So I don't know if you just
I've actually got a protocol for this.
Oh, go on with me as well.
Yeah, I said this to my client yesterday, especially like a first timer. So when they're pumping up, I will literally be like, for the first 5 minutes, train, batter yourself. get that pump, because it's very easy to just go through the motion, stuff like that. But afterwards, just lightly top up everywhere. Then when you're getting your glaze and you're maybe like lining up to go backstage, I don't want you doing anything. By that point, if you go and pump up harder, you're going to just raise your blood pressure, raise your heart rate, and you're not going to be able to hold the pose. From there, just lightly pose. Even like 10 minutes before stage, you should already have a pump, just lightly pose, get a feel for the movement, and then feel the movement for the muscle. And then as you're literally walking on stage, what I'll always do about 30 seconds before is just breathe. Genuinely just breathe. And then just be like, okay, so I'm going to walk on stage, I'm going to hit my front relaxed. Cool. And then as I go on stage, I will literally just take one deep breath and walk on stage. Because then I'm like, I'm not amping myself up too much. Because if you do that, you're not going to be able to hold the pose. Just get the pump early. Because it's a lot easier, because if you get that 20 minutes beforehand, you're absolutely fine. But I feel like some people will just go through that. I've seen loads of people backstage and they're pumping mental. They're backstage, like about to walk on, doing press-ups on the floor. I'm like,
I made that mistake for him.
And that's because of nerves as well. So the most important thing is get the pump a little bit, maybe a little bit earlier than potentially you should do anyway. I think that's better. And then just genuinely just think about what you actually need to do when you're on stage. Think about, okay, I'm going to hit this, how I hit my front relaxed. This is what I've practiced in my pose, and this is how my legs feel when they're on. Make sure you can do that. And then just make sure you go on stage and just ready to actually enjoy it, because it goes by so quick. And
don't pump up your legs.
Yeah, I said to a client yesterday, he's like, should I try some like hamstring kills? And I was like, no.
Most probably 99.9% people shouldn't, but it depends on how flat, diabolically flat your legs are, and if that trade-off of losing slight definition to bring up a decent amount of fullness, depending on how balanced your physique is, that could be a key point there. But that's a very, very small caveat there, for people that are very, very improportionate, I would say. But I think with nerves, I think just, as I was saying to Mikey as well, I think on stage you just gotta embrace the process in a way that it's gonna be either way done. So the best you can do is just put yourself in the present moment. The nerves are gonna be there whether you like it or not. The show's gonna be over whether you like it or not. But you're already here. You're already signed up. So just have the mind sort of like, I'm popping on that stage just to showcase whatever I've done, all the hard work, all this effort that's going in. Think of that rather than, oh shit, am I gonna do well? I'm gonna take first place. That's not in your control. The only thing in your control is how well you pose and how well you pump up, as Josh said. So keep those in control. Just approach the stage and smile.
Yeah, go on stage, smile, and enjoy it. Because it's very, very easy to from the nerves not enjoy things as much. Just be like, well, okay, I'm nervous, but if I go on stage nervous, I will still go on stage. Just in a way, fake it, because you'll look back at those photos and be like, oh, I actually pretended I was enjoying it, or pretended I wasn't nervous. Then you're like, okay, you actually kind of believe it, and then you'll look back and think you won't remember that you were faking it. You remember that you were just trying to be excited, so you were excited.
Even if you remember that he was faking it, I think it's important to instead still fake it for the principle that you're looking back and you see yourself at least with a smile on the face on that stage, not disappointed. And next time, because you know that from the position that you're looking back, although that time you was faking it, you're looking back from a perspective where I shouldn't have faked it. I should have embraced it. I should have enjoyed that journey. All the hard work that I put in. Why was I sad on that day? Why would I be sad on that day that I worked for fucking months doing cardio, low food, not spending time with my family or friends in the way that I could have in the off season? I didn't want to waste all that time, so I may as well just enjoy it. So yeah, if it's going to take you faking that smile, fake it, my G. But at least, please, enjoy the journey on that stage, because it's going to be over either way, boys,
Agreed.
100%.
Right, next one. How do you decide when you're ready to compete in terms of physique? Who would like to take this one?
God, I don't have the brain power to do this right now. You guys are gonna have to answer that.
Literally, if you're thinking about competing and you think, oh, I may want to do this, I would say give yourself 2 years from that exact moment. So if that's today, 28th of June, 2028, that's when around about you should compete. Send it for 18 months. Build as much tissue as you possibly can, be as consistent as you possibly can, do a prep, and then go from there, and then see what you need to improve upon. I think the best thing is just committing to it. To say, okay, in 2 years' time, I'm going to compete. I'm going to do as much as I possibly can in the next 2 years to get myself in shape and put myself in the best position there. From then, what do I need to do to improve? Or is it not for me? Doesn't matter. I'm still going to apply myself for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
On the psychological side of things, what I always say to a client who wants to prep is I say, look, it's probably not going to get at this point, but what I need you to be able to say to me is, if I told you you're doing 2 hours of cardio a day, eating 1,000 calories and 25k steps every single day for 2 months straight, would you be willing to do that? If the answer is no, you're not ready psychologically for a prep. If the answer is yes, then you are ready psychologically for the prep. That's on that side of things, not physique wise, but.
Okay.
Yeah. I think psychologically is a big. Yeah.
Mate, physique-wise, just if you're not too chubs, compete. If you're too chubby, do a mini diet and then decide if you're ready to compete, because you at least be looking within a reachable conditional stage. Because I think many people, what they do is underestimate how much they need to lose and overestimate how much they will lose. And that's the problem with any sort of prep. That although from your physique standpoint, you may think, I've only got 20 pounds to lose and I'll be bloody lean, boys. You don't know really how well you take off fat off of that physique. You don't know how well it comes off of whether it's the midsection, your back, or it's the glutes that may come out first. And you're thinking, well, everyone says that it takes ages to get glutes, but I've got my glutes here ready. But your back is holding half of your bloody body weight, but there's no definition, and your abs are still like clearly fat. Same with your arms, there's not much tricep definition, not much on the quads definition, etc. So you need to sort of, I think, almost, do a little mini diet if you're too chubs, and then decide. But if you're not too chubs and you're relatively lean, and you're looking at yourself, realize that, as Mikey said, it's going to take a diabolical amount of effort to get to a stage condition, because we're competing. We're not just getting photo shoot ready, we're talking about specifically bodybuilding stage. So for a bodybuilding stage condition, you have to push more than you would for a regular Ibiza diet, you know?
Yeah.
For that, unfortunately, you will have to dedicate yourself a lot further and go to the deeper levels of the mental aspect to it.
Yeah.
So if you are ready for it, if you are ready to do the 25k steps, an hour of cardio, as well as 1k calories a day, then let's crack on. But if not, then I think,
and that's not us saying it's going to get to that point. You've just got to be willing to accept that it might.
I was thinking of adding that caveat, but I was like, sure, we're not going to have such stupid.
I mean, I have done that before, but
To be fair, I think we don't live in the age anymore where people are like, if you sign up with me, you don't have to go below 1,000 calories. I don't think people do that as much anymore, but I hate it when people do that.
Yeah,
because you might do.
You might do, you never fucking know. I did it on my first prep, 1,000 calories, hour and 50 cardio a day, 20k steps for like fucking 9 weeks.
But then my thought on because I've done that in previous preps, does it not make more of like, does not make you think that I shouldn't have prepped at the time?
Yeah, I shouldn't have prepped.
That's what I'm thinking. So you should have never gotten to a point of 1k calories. So partially for those coaches that claim that you will never get there with me, they might be saying with the caveat of like, I will just not prep you if you're too fat, expect it to be shredded in 8 weeks. That may be the only one, that'd be like fair play. Okay, the next one is, what's the most overrated thing on a bulk for you boys? That you think maybe people, I think what the person means is, I think what people talk about online, like how banging it is they eat so many calories, but then the caveat is sometimes it gets a bit too much of the same old food. Or maybe, what are these sort of things that you might have experienced in the off season that you thought, it's going to be this, but in reality, it wasn't that good?
I've got one straight away. That, you finish a diet, you're going into an off season, you're finally going to feel full again. Guess what? I was starving my whole off season.
Fair. Okay. Josh?
That's
So are we talking like overrated, like views, or?
Just in terms of like what people hype the off season to be like, but then it maybe.
The reality is a bit different.
I'd say scale weight. I think you don't always need to like get to like your peak scale weight, get the heaviest you ever have. Sometimes you just need to return to the same one. Like my peak body weight was end of April 2023. I've never been that heavy since. 232 pound. Never been that heavy since. I want to. Don't get me wrong, and I'm going to need to at some point. but I don't think you always need to. Sometimes, literally, you can go from the back end of a prep to the top end of an off season. All you're doing is just bouncing between scale weights, but you get leaner at both. You get leaner at both of them. You get bigger at one end, you get leaner at the other end, and so on and so forth. And it gets to a point where you're then just bang in the middle, and then you start pushing up again. But it gets to a point where I think if you constantly chase that scale weight, you're just going to get to a point where you've got too much to pull off when you go into a prep, or a pre-prep diet becomes, instead of a 10-week, 12-week job, it's a whole 20-week borderline prep just to get yourself into a position to go back into an off-season. I think scale weight chasing is pointless. And I think even like scale weight in between check-ins, I don't look at scale weight until I've seen someone how they look. If someone looks brilliant, but they've gained 3 kilos in the last week, sound, it's fine.
Yeah, the last thing I look at on a check-in is scale weight, always. Yeah, the last thing.
Yeah. If someone's 5 kilos up, I don't think that's really going to happen if, like, normally, right? From just nothing's changed whatsoever. But if they are, but they look brilliant as a result, cool. Can we try and do that again?
Yeah.
Try it. But then they might be 0.1 of a kilo up and look 10 times worse. So therefore, their rate of gain is too quick.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I think it's just I think unfortunately for me, it's the training aspect. I think everyone hypes up how like it feels like banging to train in the off season. For me, I feel like my training quality is even better in the first maybe 4 to 6, maybe 8 weeks of like a prep or a diet, just because I don't feel as sluggish. I feel like off season, although yes, you have all these carbs running through your system, you have all this energy built up, and you feel like you're going to be like a beast at the gym. You do feel like a beast, but not only don't see the pump that is underneath all that, well, a slight layer of fat that you've got.
Yeah, I completely agree, apart from one body part. There is nothing better than having no time restraint with how long you can train with, being on like peak off-season food, and train legs. And just burying yourself, and your post-workout meal, you're just slouched over a bowl of
frosting. A diabolically big portion of it as well, which is banging. Yeah,
training push doing that, and then trying to pose, and then you can't. Your stomach's still full. Yeah. That's horrible.
That's it. That's literally it. Yeah. So I think the hypeness around the gym time is sometimes not as good as people may make it out to be. I think it's better when you're in like relatively decent shape in between. Well, not in between shows. You feel like shit in between shows. Mikey can, sort of relate to that one a bit more. But I think, definitely the gym time. But I think that's it. I've got like a lot more individual ones, but I don't wanna take your boys' time up with the.
Yeah, I've really got to eat a meal, guys. I'm fucking dying over it.
Mikey's like 90 minutes into his hypo.
Yeah, I'm fucking dying.
Get the carbs in.
I need it's a carbless meal one, so see how much that helps.
Enjoy that egg, boy.
Yeah, it's actually Greek yogurt now. So.
Oh, wagon. Makes a change, eh?
Right, should we wrap it up there?
Look, thank you very much for having me on, boys. It's been absolutely lovely.
More than welcome, Josh. It was a bloody pleasure, and I really, really did enjoy this as well. And thank you, Ed, as well, as always. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Any questions, leave them down below, and we'll definitely, when I'm post-show and I've kind of settled into my diet, we'll get Josh back on and we'll kind of go through all of our post-show diets. I think that would be really cool. Any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and also we'll pop it up on our Instagram. Give us all a follow. I'll pop Josh's details all down below as well. And Josh, what is your Instagram and stuff, in case and like shout out your coaching as well for the people out there?
So my Instagram is just joshjenkins.1. I think my YouTube is the same, or it's just Josh Jenkins, I don't know. So I post in there. In prep it was like multiple times a week, but now it's like usually once a week. I do have a show day video which was filmed yesterday by Jack Rickard, which will be out soon, so that'll be cool. And then my WhatsApp inquiry link is https. No, I don't know what it's on top of my head.
Imagine.
There you go. If you want that in my bio.
It will be if you go to Josh's Instagram, it will be in his bio. You can inquire through there if you want Josh for coaching, and also all of Ed's and I's will be in the description as well. But other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe. We appreciate you as always. The longest.
Just before we head off, a question to Josh. Since he's the first pod guest and we've not done any guests, I think it's only appropriate to question that we can continue on with a future guest as well. So my question from myself and Mikey would be, what's one thing Josh, you would change in the fitness slash bodybuilding industry? If you could.
Oh, I like this.
Oh. What is it? I'm trying to think what would genuinely make bodybuilding better, right?
Exactly.
I don't think for literally, I think the best thing that possibly happen for bodybuilding is you go to a bodybuilding show and there's not allowed to be food stands.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one, actually.
Okay.
And I'm talking from like when I went to my first bodybuilding show, I'd be like, oh, it's really cool if there's like gym supplements and pre-workout stuff like that and clothing and stuff like that. Great, but I don't think it's the right thing to do to have a bikini girl who's just dieted for 30 weeks to come off stage and be tempted with a 1,000-calorie cookie before she
That's
can
her
eat.
whole diet in one
Don't
fucking
think
cookie.
The whole day I was
right.
about to say.
'Cause I don't think that's the right.
Right, nice. Well,
No, that's
well,
a
thank
good
you
one.
very
I
much.
like that one.
I think that's right. I don't.
No,
Thank
there's
you,
no right or
you.
wrong answers.
Right,
The beauty-
guys,
the
I'm
beauty
gonna
is
go.
that everyone's got whatever answers. So thank you very much for that. But as Mikey's going, Mikey's going a bit. He needs.
I need
his
to
carbs.
go. I need to go eat real bad.
So thank you guys
I'm
for
flagging
watching.
over here, guys.
Yeah, appreciate you watching. Thank you very much, and have a lovely rest of your days, boys. Eh?
Love you lot. See you later.
Right, see you in a bit.